Darkest night, I saw your eyes, a sense of threat that I can't forget. I wanna know who you are. This is what I need to know. So take my hand and let our fears go. Take me to your jungle where the rain is warm and the birds fly. Take me to your kingdom.
Hello everyone and welcome to day 2 of the GC unofficial cast. My name is Nerds. I'm here with the lovely Zach, and we are going to be the hosts and analysts for today, getting things started. Zach, how you feeling coming out all the way? I know the time zones are a little bit wacky, but how you feeling?
I mean, whether it's 2 p.m. or 2 a.m., I'm always excited for some GC, especially, I don't, like I was telling you guys before we got into this, I really don't get enough chances with the Game Changers today, so very excited to be here. And of course, with you again, nerds. I think last time as well, it's been a while since we were together, but it's only been a couple months.
It's always lovely to have you here, honestly, coming out for all the games. I'm personally excited for this because this is, the hosting, talking about the games and whatnot. But from what we saw previously, I not only do I have some friends playing in these tournaments, but also just like the storylines that we see Shopify playing in this tournament because they got taken down, decrowned earlier. But they've been cooking for a little bit here, and they're ready to make some purchases off the bat. The 2-0ing in all of the playoffs, dominating. Something discussed on the desk previously was they actually apparently played with a sub for the majority of these first 2 games, and considering they did so well, they should be in full swing now.
Yeah, I think this 2-0 thing, it's kind of what we've been used to seeing from Shopify since since their inception of the team and since they started playing out. But like you said, question mark with the sub, question mark since their losses to FlyQuest. I'm kind of wondering if this team still was on the same level or had the same confidence. But so far, at least in their run, I think they've been doing incredibly well. And I think, of course, going up against a team like Miso Millionaires, the question is, can they maintain that streak? But at least by judging by what they've, I think that they are still one of the top contenders for this particular tournament. I'm sure everybody thinks that. I'm just saying what people already think here, going by what history has showed of Shopify Rebellion. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to see them play myself.
And they're going to be going up against Meso's Millionaires, they have done a really good job too. Also, 2-0s for the bracket. So I'm excited to see how they kind of stack up against them. These are the 2 teams here, Shopify Rebellion. We all know and love them, but we have Meso's Millionaires here as well. And honestly, these are some new names to me, but I like some names. Teddy is Fluffy is personally my favorite so far.
Yeah, I mean, I know some of these players. Like Alessandro used to be on MSF last year with Thor before Thor joined Shopify. I know Animal as well. They used to be on Complexity. So at least a couple of these players do have of at least a few years of GC experience behind them. But yeah, I'm excited to see what this team is cooking, especially since you said they also have that similar, untarnished bracket run so far of perfect 2-0s, and now both of these teams going up against each other. Like, I mean, before you look at it, before doing the game, you would think that, all right, Shopify, they look like they are the stronger team, and they are looking to kind of like keep their momentum going. But Meso, at least in the bracket, has proven to be just as capable. So I'm very excited to see how this map is going to be shaping up.
And talking about maps, talking about BO3s, we actually had a lot of questions on the desk when we first came up here. I know Pulsable and Ancient, who are going to be coming up shortly, we're talking a little bit about this. The map picks and bans for the specific BO3 were a big question mark. And Mesos, right? They're going to be the first ones to ban here. So it was a little bit like, are they going to ban something that Shopify is good at? Or are they going to ban something that Shopify is bad at? No, they're immediately banning out Haven. Obviously, not that they're bad at, but like they immediately ban out Haven, which honestly is really good for them because it forces Shopify to ban out Lotus, a map that they're pretty, inconsistent on, unfortunately. And then they pick Bind. I really like this personally, just because Bind is one of those maps that if you're really good at as a team, and Mesos has been looking pretty good on, they can potentially win that one. Ascent is very, basic. Floating Abyss all the way to the end as the decider.
Yeah, I mean, this is again that question mark, right? You haven't really seen GC teams play on it because of the time the map came out. So pretty excited to see that coming into play if it does go on to that decider. But like you said, Bind and Ascent especially, a map that is just like cooked and overcooked to extinction, I would say. I think it's gotten to the point where people have tried innovating in all kinds of ways, and most of them just don't like to. I know some teams that like to run some whack pops, like I think that Leviathan ran like a pretty whack comp against G2 on their way to champions. But yeah, apart from that, Ascent is just the cookie cutter comps. It's just about who plays better. So generally like that coming out of Shopify. Like you said, the bans in particular, forcing Shopify to use their ban on Lotus instead, and making sure that, I'm also respect to Shopify that like this is a sign that they are taking their opponents seriously by not even letting Lotus float as an option to the table. So yeah, pretty excited to see what we got coming up.
Honestly, another like deeper reason is that Mesos Millionaires have been banning Lotus themselves off rip, so both teams don't feel comfortable with it. But having that kind of vote of
Hmm.
confidence, knowing that all right, we can ban this out. Shopify really doesn't want to play this. They don't want to show what strats Effie's might have been cooking up. Potentially, they don't want to really play that map. They might have not scrimmed it. There's a lot of reasons why Mesos might not know, but they can speculate, and that kind of really, as a host and all for all the casters for us on the desk, we're giddy with it. We want to analyze and kind of see why and how. But while we have a little bit of time, I do also want to bring the bracket back up if we can and talk a little bit about the other side that we didn't get to. We kind of glossed over really quickly. It's YFPX and Oofies who are going up against each other in the other semifinals, who are not going to be streamed, unfortunately. And honestly, one of those teams is going to be moving on to the grand finals later today, so we kind of need to talk a little bit about their storylines as well. YFPX going 2-0, and Oomfies, unfortunately, not going, I say unfortunately because Catnappers, I have a friend on there, shout outs to Milk T-Boards, going down also 2-0. So it seems like a lot of dominant teams in these semifinals.
Yeah, it's kind of good for the competition of the region because it just shows that all the top contenders, they are top contenders for a reason. I think YFE was also there, finishing quite high up in that previous stage as well. So, I mean, it's nice that they've been able to keep up that consistency. And like I said, of course, Oomfies also on that spurge, like all these, if you think about it, all four of these teams right now are completely undefeated. Like they haven't even lost a map so far yet. And the fact that they've been able to make it to this point, with that being the case, and now for one of them at least, for two of them at least, that's no longer going to be the case. Pardon me, I can't do math. It's pretty exciting to me because usually, aside from Shopify or maybe FlyQuest, most of the other teams, it seemed like in the previous bracket, seemed to struggle a little bit more. There was at least one map that was being taken on them, but these top contenders, they've gotten their kind of gameplay refined to that level that the group stage is more of like a dry run for them prepping for that playoff stage, and it's kind of nice to see.
I also want to add just YFP, huge shout out to them. They got into Red Bull home grounds, and you gotta give credit where credit is due, because that plus YFP has been kind of growing as an org, could be a top contender not only in GC but also in challengers. Hopefully, you gotta give them some credit. But back to the streamed game, just to kind of ask some stuff and kind of get into the picks a little bit. Bind, one of my picks. I'm not the most biggest fan of Bind personally, but Mesos Millionaires and Shopify Rebellion. Do you if you have any insight on how they stack up, specifically, Shopify Rebellion? I know you're more comfortable on that end.
I mean, I was just going through the stats, and honestly, Bind, it seems like for Shopify, it is a map that they have struggled with. I think I think during the close qualifier semifinals, they actually lost it to a team called Popals, and they also lost it to Passion Project in that upper final. So it's a map that they've proven to be a little bit disconfident on in the past. So them again, especially when you look at Meso Millionaires, they're fairly comfortable on this map. They've been able to take down all of their opponents with the exception of FlyQuest Red during that stage, during this series 3, in fact, on their course during their way here. So I think that overall it's a map that's good for them, and also Shopify have proven themselves vulnerable before, so it makes sense that they would go for this as their map choice, I would say.
Bind. I that's one of the things. Like, I know that it's a staple in Valorant. I expect it to happen, but it's in the back of my mind. Just off rip. I just don't like the mid play. There is no mid play. There's no mid. So it's like there's no rotate. It's like it feels very much like you hit a site, you take a lot of control, you either default or you hit with a split, and it just feels rough. At least my personal opinion, but these guys really know how to play the game. 65% win rate. Just talk about raw stats for Mesos Millionaires as a team, courtesy of VLR. Yippee! I love looking at that. You're right, they seem to be comfortable on it, and speaking of recent events as well, that carries over. But carrying it over to the next map pick, I mean, I believe it was a Haven. No, not Haven. Sorry, it was Ascent. I mixed them up a little bit there. Haven got banned first. The opposite. It wasn't the first. It wasn't the next map. It was the banned first map.
Well, don't worry. To avoid confusion, Ascent is map number 2, and of course, I mean, look, if you want to talk Asian comps, if we see anything aside from the usual shenanigans, I would be very surprised. I would like to see, some kind of change, but I think apart from initiators being occasionally swapped around, I know some teams like to run the breach or the cipher instead of the killjoy. Personally, I'm a killjoy stan. I think nobody beats killjoy in a sense, but I'm just a little bit biased. Like, I mean, look, I've got killjoy keycap, so I think like I shouldn't be the one talking here, really. But yeah, since game comp wise, I mean, I really don't think we're gonna get anything super exciting. I have like a little bit of pain inside whenever I have to cast Ascent because it's always gonna be like, oh, look, it's Ascent. But one thing that does excite me is at least
Okay, seems like we're having a little technical difficulties, but it's all good in the hood. We're going to be talking, just to talk a little bit more, Abyss is going to be that final map pick. I also dislike Ascent just to kind of carry over from Zach. You see the standard comps so consistently. You see, you know, the Haven, sorry, not Haven. You just see a lot of hectic play styles. You see a lot of people pugging it out. And I personally don't necessarily think that it's, you know, the wrong comp, but sometimes I want to see, you know, throw Clove in there instead of Omen. Obviously, you know, we have what works, and it works, but I digress. To talk a little bit about the next map pick, Abyss. We did see Shopify Rebellion very comfortable on Abyss. They played it out. They didn't pick it, but they had it played out, and they won pretty fairly on it. So all things said, I feel like Shopify has sort of, you know, that oomph. They are the, you know, the bigger fish right now in the pond, and we want to see if Mesos is going to take them down. Well, unfortunate situation. Unfortunate situations to come through. But with that, I think we're just gonna hop over to the casters. I think Paul and Ancient have a lot to talk about and discuss here. So we'll see you guys post match with hopefully some renewed audio and faces. Cheers.
Thank you so much, nerds. Sorry to hear that Zach is out of commission for a little bit. Hope that gets fixed. But in the meantime, Paul, we've got a semifinals coming up. I'm super excited for this.
Oh, how can we not be excited? We get Shopify Rebellion on their revenge tour. Their revenge tour is going to last a while, in theory. They're not going to get to play FlyQuest until the main event, most likely. But starting off their revenge tour, it's so strong, too. They've played 6 maps already here in our second qualifier. Have only dropped, not maps, 20 rounds across 6 maps. Less than 4 rounds a map, 4 rounds a map on average.
Yeah.
So Shopify, they're back with a vengeance, and they're going up against Mesos Millionaires, who they were talking a bit about on the desk. We were talking about it earlier. I think have set themselves up for as good of a chance at victory as possible via these maps.
I absolutely agree, and one of the things that as well, right, you talked about how they've only dropped 20 rounds in playoffs. In the group stage, they played against Waffle House, and they didn't drop a single round in that game. It was a double 13-0. In one match, they double 13-0'd a team just to make it out of groups in the first place. It's absolutely insane, the kind of form that we're seeing Shopify in. It's very evident that, you know, going into Open Qualifier 1, they weren't exactly at their peak, but this is the Shopify that won Game Changers last year in Sao Paulo. Like, that's the Shopify we're seeing now.
And it's a question you always have to ask about teams at the top, right? We expect Shopify to be the best, or at least one of the best, but how long will it last, right? Every Monarch's rule comes to an end. So is this the beginning of a descent? Doesn't seem like it based off the last 6 maps, I'll tell you that much. They're back with a vengeance. They're not falling to pieces. They're right back on form. Every team is gonna lose, but bouncing back from that, even when you're the team that's expected to win everything, bouncing back from that is such a huge part of longevity as a roster, and these players have been playing together with each other for so long. They're so comfortable with each other at this point. It's no surprise that one little hiccup in the road, one little speed bump, isn't gonna throw them off their mojo.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, to that end, there also is a little bit of history with Mesos Millionaires, right? Like, they've also been a roster that's been together for a little bit of time. A lot of those players have been playing alongside each other for months, and even I think some of them have been duos for over a year now. So
yeah, definitely.
There is a lot of history there between those players as well. So we're kind of getting not necessarily the El Clasico, right? Because everyone knows that El Clasico of NAGC, at least for this year, is FlyQuest versus a good old-fashioned SR. But
sure,
you know, these still very much is like old guard GC, right?
Yeah, and the other question you always have to ask when a team is so dominant, when a team is, you know, they win the entire year last year, and then they come in and they slap through the first 2 events, and then they finally lose a game versus FlyQuest Red, who have been their biggest competition. Is it just FlyQuest? who is starting to catch up, who is starting to put, like, to get on Shopify's heels? Or will other teams also reach greater and greater heights the further we go through this year? Will teams like Mesos Millionaires, who, let's pivot to real quickly, obviously didn't have the greatest time during the last qualifier, but now they've made it all the way to the semifinals. At the very least, even if they lose today, right, versus Shopify Rebellion, you get a lot of points, you set yourself up for a good shot at the main event, right? And how much damage is Mesos Millionaires going to be able to do to Shopify Rebellion? That's the real question that we're asking today.
It's going to be really interesting as well, right? Because you're talking about the whole the damage and that aspect of this matchup. We were talking about it a little bit where we were like, oh, does this map veto determine, like, potentially even taking a map or taking the series off of Shopify? And when we first saw this map veto, we both immediately went, no, this is doable for Mesos.
Yeah. To clarify for our folks at home, when we went into the map veto today, we always look at trends, right? At what consistently both teams are banning. Well, we looked throughout this entire qualifier, and both teams had permabanned first round Lotus. That doesn't spell good things for Mesos Millionaires necessarily, because Mesos had the first ban. If they had just blindly first banned Lotus, then it really plays into Shopify's hands. But they showed flexibility in that map pick veto. They knew that they couldn't just go headstrong into this match. They would have to come up with something. They would have to adapt and be creative to have a chance against Shopify. And if nothing else, that at least bodes well.
Yeah. And that fact that now Haven completely banned out, it was the one map that Shopify was consistently picking over these last couple matches in this qualifier, it completely kind of flipped the veto upside down. We were talking and we were like, yeah, you know, Haven's probably going to be map 1 or map 2, but instead it's Bind. And Agent Select's been fully done for us, Paul. We're going straight into the match. Do you want to just real quick kind of touch on what we're seeing from both these teams?
So both these teams, it looks like they're playing the compositions that they generally run on Bind. Although that being said, Shopify have not played Bind since Series 2. And it does seem that they are also, I think, down floor today. I don't believe that that's like a fluorescent alt account. So eSub 13 going to be in instead. So Shopify going to have to reach into their pockets for this one.
Yeah, they're going to have to do a lot of deep digging on the defense here on Bind. It should help that they are starting defense, and Bind does tend to help those defenders. But for Mesos, they really want to try and get active. Slandy actually going to be the first to look over towards Shower, as it's Sarah on that raise to try and pick things up for SR. There's that deep flash. It is going to force Sarah off the angle as Alexis just jump spots towards Long. Will get tagged up. Going to use that guiding light to help try and take that swing, but Teddy going to be the first to take a frag here on Bind. Alexis falls, and that poor little E-sub has to run away, has to try and save their life as that teleport comes in. This B site, it's under siege, Paul, but Sarah is right there with that nade to try and buy time, but Mel's gonna fall from Edith, and now it's a 3v5 retake. And Meso, they're pitched up for this pistol, but Sarah's able to start to claw their way back into this. SR has an ability to take this retake. If Habibti falls at only 19 HP, this could be really drastic, but stays on for just a little bit longer. And Noya gonna get one, but then that sub gets taken out by Teddy, and there's that trade once again. It's all up to Noya in the 1v2. Slandy! So close. Noya's still there. Will eventually get taken out by Annie. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
what a rocky pistol
There was
round.
no way for Shopify to know there was another player backside there. That was such an unbelievable late lurk from Animal. Phenomenally done. And a great round to start off. Looking at Meso's composition, you'll notice that one critical agent is different from most Bind compositions. There ain't no Brim on Meso, right?
Yeah.
So Meso are going to be having to play around fights like we saw in Showers. They're going to have to get a little bit scrappy to get some control of the map before they try and execute. They want player advantages in the early round, and you can see right here, I mean, they're just going to immediately go be long and fight as hard as they can, but there are 4 lying in wait.
Yeah, Shopify have a really good read here. That Trailblazer actually only spots 1, so this trap isn't fully revealed yet on the side of SR. Meso's gonna look to try and back up, but I mean, Alexis gonna keep jump peeking, gonna try and jiggle, and Teddy's looking to just keep fighting. Just keep going forward here. But Sarah's holding with that Sheriff and will make it sing. Annie's, though, quick on the trade and actually finds a second after picking up that Bulldog, and Habibti able to take out Alexis. Means that this 2v4, again, Mesos in a prime position here to get that plant down.
Yeah, it should be fine and dandy here, unless Mel does something absolutely unbelievable with a classic smoked off and hookah. I'm not quite feeling it. Shopify's good. I don't know if Mel's gonna get much here. Yeah. Nicely done by Meso. I was worried that they were going to bite off a bit more than they could chew. Doubling back for that fight be long seemed a little bit dicey to me, but they're able to trade out very well. The player who was peaking was not the one who had invested any economy, so it ended up being fine. Now we get on to the bonus round for Meso. 2 Vandal bonus too, so a very potent round at that. And already, it's Shopify starting off on the back foot here. Can they get a clean round? It looks like Sarah and Mel are going to fight early for shower control.
It has to be off the back of shower control that Meso look to try and take this. It's all that extremity, but Habibti with that Vandal looking to just try and peek in towards Hookah, try and catch this Viper off guard for SR. Mel, though, stuck in, sitting in towards shower. That's full control for SR, and Sarah can grab that orb too. This is actually going to be a really big problem for Mesos. They don't have any way in. They're going to try and break Sarah's control of shower here with that Trailblazer from Slandy, but with it getting immediately broken and now that trap getting broken from Habibti, what's the walk in here for Mesos?
Meso are going to have to just try and send it toward A, but they don't have much to actually get this. Mel, they have to find Mel somehow, but the information has been given. The cam will spot this out nice and early. The rotates are going to be coming through, so Mel can fight for one, or honestly just back up, especially with Sarah still in shower.
Oh, Mel actually is able to find one. There's the trade, though, but Sarah still tucked in towards showers, just like you mentioned. Able to find Habibti, but Teddy's there for the trade. So now it's a 3-on-3, and the site, it's completely empty on the side of Shopify. Mesos should be able to get this plant. There's Annie, who's going to be able to stick it as Noya in that clove smoke over towards heaven. It'll actually just be a 1-for-1 from Teddy. There's that not dead yet coming back out, surrounding over alongside Tetris, turns things into a 1v1. Annie versus Noya. Oh, it's all so close. There's that cyber cage. It goes out. Annie, though, on the swing. It's good for it. Mesos win that bonus thanks to that 1v1 clutch.
Meso showing up to play, looking to be millionaires with how they're starting to pad their pockets. Really nice round. Phenomenal play from Teddy specifically. Teddy able to really play ring around the Rosie with that not dead yet. Perfect positioning and sidestepping, not falling down, and really making it difficult. I mean, you want to trade out the clove going back in. The timing, the angles, almost perfectly there, but if you trade out a player and they just reposition anyway, not so easy. Not so easy to get things done. Now Shopify, I mean, Hail Mary on a judge here. If Meso Millionaires don't clear their corners, maybe Shopify can get something done. Of course, it's Shopify. They're monsters with the sheriffs as well, but the way Meso Millionaires have been playing so far, I don't know if I'm quite feeling a thrifty here.
I mean, listen, it's really going to be about if anyone on Mesos kind of gives something away here, right? Like, you see Habibti going all the way in towards Hookah there. So if that happens and you're able to get one of those guns, you can really start to snowball, but it's really more about just, again, does Mesos fall into this trap? You can see Teddy already trying to bait over towards long, try and potentially call out all of these players. That jump spot from Alexis still just to bait as Sarah can swing off the back of the flash and finds 3! Oh no! There's the backstab from Habibti. It will be able to take out that sub, but there's Edith and Habibti, and now it's all up to Edith. All onto that Raze alone in a 1v3, and look at the space that Noya is able to take over towards Market. I think we're about to see that judge start to sing.
You know,
oh, never mind.
My bad, Meso Millionaires. That one's on me. That's a caster curse, plain and simple right there. I shouldn't have done that to you. I apologize.
That's
Sarah, even filling in on the duelist today, just unbelievable.
If there's one thing that Twitter has told me, it's that Sarah does frags, and Edith gonna try and do the same. It's just not gonna be there. Alexis on that trade means it's a thrifty for SR to start things out, and that is not the way we thought that was gonna go at all.
All right, well, Shopify, Takes a second to warm up, maybe.
Uh-huh.
But that's the sign of life we needed. And not just a sign of life, that is a full defibrillator to the chest. All right, guns back in hands too, and it's still plenty early enough to where the economy has not stacked up for Meso Millionaires yet. So now we get into the real rounds, though. This is where teams have to start prodding at each other, especially the attacking team, have to start figuring out the defensive setups here. I'd love to see Meso Millionaires maybe punish this Showers play a little bit more. It seems like Shopify, only once in a blue moon, actually really commit to holding it and would rather get information. I love this play. Getting rid of that camera, getting rid of the trap early, but Sarah through the TP.
My
Good
God!
Oh, my word.
Okay.
And now Meso's, oh, man, they need to regroup.
They need to find something. This is now a 2v5. You can see there's just Teddy trying to find something here on B. There's only so much that you can do here. As again, this is just Sarah having a game.
Yeah.
Just being put onto that duelist and just starting to absolutely frag out with the absence of floor.
Yeah, phenomenal stuff. Just
Yeah.
truly phenomenal. Great play. And I mean, that's the sort of thing that you need to expect going up against Shopify, too.
Yeah.
That they'll be able to make those pivots, make those calls happen.
And
I was a little bit surprised that Meso, if you want to push that deep into Shower, I liked the push, but you do need to have someone holding. So Meso, they've learned that lesson the hard way.
Okay.
Not bad from Teddy, but I mean, even with the overheal here, 12 HP isn't gonna go very far.
Yeah, well, I mean, thankfully you do have a teammate, so potentially with the position given away from Mel, there could have been something done from Annie, but unfortunately, it's that substitute. And I've been hearing rumors that the sub today is the same as yesterday, where it's Misu. But okay, it is Misu. I've just been told by the Game Changers Overlords, aka production, that it is actually Misu. So from now on, if you see E sub 13, that's just Misu. That's good.
All right. Well, so I mean, at least there's that level of consistency. It's it's not floor, but Shopify not completely out in the middle of open waters.
Yeah.
Ooh, an outlaw here too for Sarah, taking advantage of the low economy. Love this decision. Oh, and you're good for one here.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
done,
see the
busted.
barrel?
No show for you. It stopped in its tracks.
The showstopper gets stopped early, and Mel triple spray down, which means it's
all right.
You up for a tour? Just random question. You up for a tour of Bind? Tour de Bind?
It's not going to be a tour of force, I'll tell you that much. There's not much force behind this. Yeah,
Okay.
goodbye. Flawless from Shopify to bring us to a tied game, and that's 3 in a row too. So Meso Millionaires, I mean, it was a nice start, but it was just a pistol and a bonus, right? So now we need to see that they can really prove they can hang around. I mean, this map is no doubt Meso Millionaire's best chance. This is their map pick. This is a map that Shopify haven't even played since Series 2. If Meso Millionaires can't make this map at least extremely competitive and ideally even win it, then Shopify are going to unsurprisingly be well on their way to the grand finals. It's still early days in this series though, so let's see what Meso have in store. A lot of defaults here. Not really trying to apply pressure one direction or another, really hoping that someone will come up with the goods in a 1v1 or a 2v2, but there are no holes left by Shopify in their defense. I think Meso Millionaires, they need to start coming up with a bit more tactical plans.
They have kind of just been relying on Teddy over towards long to try and find them a lot of space, buy a lot of rotations, but when you can't really dig Sarah out of Showers, it leaves A super like locked down on the side of Shopify. So
and if you get
really
B
have to
long
try and
control and you can't execute B, it doesn't matter because you've never cleared out Showers. Now Sarah finally forced away from it, so Mesos will feel a little bit more comfortable to pull back. It looks like toward B? Yeah, they're going to try and go for a B long pop. Oh, and the information's actually, I think, counteracting. Shopify threw a guiding light long, but it didn't get the information needed, and there's only a cam that's going to be left B. So, fortunate world, at least until the Seekers come out. Now, Meso, they got to go.
Yeah, now this has to be it because now they know all three were over towards B. Those rotations are starting to come in. Slandy really couldn't find anything, and actually it's Alexis who's going to be able to find Teddy. But now look at Mel's position. They rotated in towards her, and she's just able to spray him down. That's 3 on the round for the IGL of Shopify. Has them opened like a book.
I'll teach him to
Oh, so nicely done. So nicely done. The perfect timing on the Seekers from Alexis. This is what you expect. Shopify, I thought foolishly there was a little bit of an opening, but the only reason that Noya even rotates off of B is because the Seekers are going to be available for that information when they need them. Alexis just shuts that down in its entirety, and Mel takes advantage. That Showers was not held on to. It was merely barely cleared. And things are looking better and better and better for Shopify. Meso Millionaires on the last vestige of their economy for the moment. And now at least trying something different. It looks like they're going to send it B.
That's the hope, right? You know, maybe we've been trying these defaults so much that it hasn't really been working. Let's just try and go B.
Control Mel has taken.
God, wait a minute. Mel already on a flank. Slandy's not ready for this. You're gonna get taken out. Thankfully, Habibti's there, but Mel again on the trade. So good. Posted up. It's all down to this B site fight, and Noya and all of the rest of Shopify are just swinging and spraying
Look where
around.
the spike is.
Oh no, Teddy all the way in spawn. We'll be able to take out Noya. No, the trigger discipline from Teddy. That's one, that's two, not a third. It's the not dead yet to come out for Teddy to try and bring things back now. 3v2, that swing out from Noya. It's baited, but it's not gone for yet. Teddy finally gonna fall, and now that 2v2. There's so much to do, and Mel's never expected. It's all up to Annie, and just can't get it done off the backstab from Mel. Again, 2 rounds in a row. The multi-kills are insane.
Oh, a heroic effort by Teddy, too. I mean, being able to sneak that deep, but, I mean, getting 3 there is nigh on impossible. Even with the not dead yet, you're on such a tight timer. Teddy felt needed to re-swing that, but Noya, ready for the swing back through the cyber cage, knows that Teddy will be in time constraints. So not able to get anyone up there to trade, and then Mel on that long flank. Take your time, take the scenic route, Mel, because when you get to the destination, it goes fine and dandy.
Yeah. That's all you need to do to get to a 5th. And now Alexis back to the good old jump spotting long ways. Gonna be able to, take a bullet to the foot. Will back up off the end of that, but Teddy there. What a swing! Takes out the sky on Shopify, and now it's a nice little player advantage for Mesos Millionaires in round number 9.
The question is how can they get this onto the site? They need to transfer without losing too many already. Noya good for 1. Second from Misu. 3 falling. And the showstopper thrown in just for the hell of it. Okay. Oh, man. Not a flawless round, but 6 in a row. That's damn near close.
This might as well be a flawless half. You lost the first 3, but then you follow up
a delayed start flawless? I don't know if we count those, Angel.
Listen, I'm just saying, you get a thrifty followed up by the next 5 in a row. So, not flawless.
A thrifty's basically a pistol, right? We'll just swap it out. We'll pretend it was the first round.
Because, really, at this point, again, the best Mesos can hope for is the next 3 in a row just to tie things up at the half. And it's, you really, in terms of ultimates, you're only relying on the Seekers from Slandy. So...
yeah, it's tough.
You have to dig deep here.
Another default, too. A little bit of a different composition here. This time the Sky Rays duo will get B-long control instead of Showers. Not willing to fight Sarah for that anymore. It takes too much time, and they don't get to hold control of it, so instead they'll send a lurk of Animal over there. Hope to catch Sarah off guard, maybe.
I mean, listen, Annie's been a bright spot for Mesos, but you can see there's that jiggle. Sarah immediately spots it out, and
Mesos have, other than like the first 2 rounds, have gone almost exclusively for B plays here because they can't get anything down A short. Despite having the Viper, the trap wires are too tricky for them to deal with. They don't trust that they could get up short without issues, especially with Sarah still hanging on to Shower. And I mean, even Mel is coming over to make sure she doesn't lose it.
Oh, Annie, that was a bold swing, but Sarah's got that tracking all good and on lock, and that double up Showers from Shopify, that's crucial and deadly. A walkout B, though, could catch Noya off guard, and it actually will, thanks to the frags from Edith. Now, as it's B basically all confirmed, Slandy's finally going to pop the Seekers, but look at where the spike is. They've completely faked us all.
Oh.
Mesos want to go towards A.
I mean, you get a plant, 3v4. It's not an unwinnable round, and it's one that Meso Millionaires desperately need, but they've already used that Seeker. Teddy needs to put in quite a bit of work. 2 off the not dead yet. That could be huge. You get 1 pick here. You potentially have it available, but will you expect this lurk. Misu coming up from behind. E-sub 13 ready to go. Containing as well. This is going to be tricky for Meso to hold.
We're going to have to see what they can do. They've doubled up over towards this U-Haul area. You can see that Dazzle going out. It's going to be Edith to actually find that frag onto Sarah. And there's Teddy finding Misu. So that flank's all but taken care of. 2v3 now, and Edith still can't get dug out. That's 3 kills on the round for the Rays as Teddy closes things out. Meso, after dropping 6 in a row, they finally responded with their 4th.
Very nicely done by Meso Millionaires. Narrowly being able to get through Showers once they saw the Showers players had absconded. They had met them on the B site. Great rotate from Meso Millionaires there on the attack. And punishing E-sub 13 too, who was a little bit too eager to go up A short. Running, you know, stomping around when lamps hadn't been cleared, pocket hadn't been cleared. A lot of lack of information for you to be running that loudly. And it gave Mel too many angles to have to worry about at the very end. But still a good half, and I mean, still a phenomenal scenario here for Shopify. They got plenty of money and a Viper's Pit to hold on to short.
They've got a Viper's Pit in short, and then they've got an off on Sarah over by long. So a ton of control available for Shopify. It's really just about how much of it you can maintain throughout these rounds. How much can you disrespect the utility that Meso uses as they start to just venture into short? They're getting decayed all the way, and Misu's going a hunting, and we'll find Habibti and possibly Slandy with that shorty. Will do it. Edith having that showstopper won't find a thing. It's Noya to get that kill instead, and now Teddy. Yeah, there's only so much you can do there. Mel's able to clean everything out, and Shopify, yeah, they have for sure a lead at the half.
And a great round from Shopify too. Leveraging Noya as the other anchor on the A site so that E-sub never has to worry about people coming out Showers. There'll be trap wires, there'll be information. E-sub will always be safe in that pit from a flank. And I mean, once the 2 short fell, Edith, desperate, had to try and make something happen with the showstopper, but 3v5, it was never meant to be, even if you hit E-sub in the Viper's Pit there. So now one last round for Meso Millionaire, swapping it up, just going hard toward A, and they're getting hard shut down by Mel.
All roads lead to Mel. That's what we've learned in this half. Teddy's gonna be able to get that plant, but there's actually the orbital strike to call things off, and Annie trying to go hunting means that Mel's gonna get a 3rd kill now in the 2v5. For these 2 players on Meso's Millionaires. Habibti has to go searching and can't even find Alexis. And there's Teddy, who's gonna fall to Noya at the very end. A flawless round to call a significantly beautifully played half from SR to a close.
Yeah, jolted awake after that bonus round loss, it seems. Shopify are not going to let their hot streak go cold in a match like this. Meso Millionaires, their composition, I mean, man, would I even make the argument it's leans towards the defense? Technically with a chamber, right? With the chamber Viper, you think, okay, yeah, I can see how that'd be defensive. The Clove isn't necessarily as strong either for like hitting hard executes, but I also worry about the Clove's utility for trying to retake on A or B, right? You need multiple smokes at a time. It's why Brim is so popular on this map, especially alongside the Viper. So how much will Meso Millionaires be able to do on the defense? A heavy hookah stack here. 4. Do Meso Millionaires have a read on something? Doesn't look like it. Noya ain't gonna play with that.
Yeah, Noya said, you know what? You were way too happy to break that camera. Something's going on. So we're just gonna move over towards this A site. We're going to see what's going on there on that first letter of the alphabet. And it's just Habibti over towards Heaven. That's it. But Alexis now on that lurk could potentially find a rotate in the side of the head as this site goes down. Because Habibti's fallen and Slandy about to do the same on the other side of the map means it's a 3v5 retake for the Millionaires of the Meso variety.
Well, and they feel like they need to go quick because they know one is toward B, so they want to try and push fast, but they're not going to be able to flush people out necessarily. And with Sarah getting such a good trade, it's done. It's dusted.
Well, I mean, listen, Annie's been good for a clutch or 2 here and there. Now, whether this is going to be one of them, that's a different story. We're going to have to wait and see. But that spike does get tapped, so it's going to draw at least a little bit of presence, a little bit of utility, and a little bit of spam as Sarah will eventually close things out. get it done. Shopify say, okay, listen, you got the first pistol, but we're not letting you take the second.
I wonder how many more rounds Shopify will allow to go the other direction, especially now that they've won the pistol and they get to firmly get that anti-eco going. I mean, even the outlaw for Mel on the attack as well. It's brutal. Brutal stuff.
Yeah. Mel's gonna be good for it. I can tell you that much.
No, Mel? Who?
Yeah.
I don't know. She's only 18 and 5. Yeah.
That's a good spot.
You know, just call it a hunch.
Oh,
Mesos.
against the solo anchor B chamber? I
yeah.
wonder how this round will go.
Well, listen, Teddy's already getting active towards market. So they kind of already know that this is going to be a B-site hit. I wonder if the rotations are going to come through yet.
I think that will have been heard. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
B-side,
there we
aka
go.
Misu,
Yeah.
heard that landing, so you just send it B. Habibti can at least hang out in hookah for a while, but are you going to be able to get a pick here? I doubt it.
Spike planted.
Oh, Teddy runs into that trap wire. I mean, that's going to be one kill. So, you know, Meso's now in that 4v5, that player disadvantage, but it's going to be about what Mel can find. And there's the kill. It goes through. It's a jump up into hookah is actually how Mel finds it. But now as Edith going to start to swing, going to try and maybe sneak a kill away here. Annie could be the next to fall and will be, as it's now all up to Slandy with a classic. That's that new classic. It's
You
in
know,
the
I heard a
shop.
saying once that experienced sailors, experienced captains, when they buy a new ship, they don't go for the brand new shiny ship that is fresh off and everyone promises it's going to be good, right? They go for the ship that has a little bit of wear and tear to it, that's seen storms and come out the other side and survive. Shopify getting a loss versus FlyQuest has only solidified in my mind how strong they are. Because if they're able to turn around like this, if they're able to go against adversity like this, and really not even miss a beat, coming back, slaughtering everybody. Keep in mind, the most rounds Shopify has dropped leading up till today was 9, but their average rounds for this qualifier was less than 4 rounds dropped per game. So in that metric, Meso's already shooting above par, but Shopify just refused to let their ship sink. They are dominant.
Well, I guess the question that we all had coming into this qualifier was, is Shopify a paper idol now that FlyQuest has beaten them? But it's evidently not the
even
case.
close.
Not even close. Alexis making quick work of Teddy in showers, has that full control. Habibti now trying to swing out, try and find something alongside that paint shells, but it's Alexis to continue to frag out in showers, and now it's all up to Edith on this A site alone, pinched from 3 angles, spammed out. Oh man, there
What
was
are you
no hope
supposed
for
to
Edith.
do as Meso millionaires here? What are you supposed to do?
Dropped.
Double TP
unbelievable.
and run it down. That's what I
Double TP and roll. I meant more in like a grandiose scheme of the match,
Oh.
but you know. I mean, for the round, I guess you could.
Yeah.
You don't really want to give him an alt orb though.
Yeah, and also you
Not
don't wanna
that you
lose
might
these
have a
guns.
choice based on where you are currently.
You also don't want to lose the guns, so the
Yeah,
save
those are
call-
vaguely important.
somewhat. So the
That
save
being
call-
said, we are getting up to 11-4. This is
Yeah.
starting to get to like Herculean task comeback territory here to try and pull this back. And reminder, this is Meso Millionaire's map pick. This is the map they felt most confident that they could potentially get one over on Shopify, but here comes Sarah bounding through elbow. They don't even want to fight. They're like, please, just stay away, please.
just let me keep my gun.
I just want my Vandal.
I want my Vandal. And hey,
Okay.
Sandy will be able to keep
Keeps
that.
it.
Yeah,
Based.
and so will Annie. Both of them.
Easy.
Yep. So, I mean, you talk about Herculean tasks, but in all fairness, a 7-round lead has been blown before. Not necessarily by Shopify, but more just in a general Valorant sense. So it's not impossible. It's really just going to be about how Meso can use these 2 Vandals to their advantage in this round. And we can
What-
already see a significantly stronger hold on this B site. Could
The issue
potentially
you
just
get
be
to
a
when
re-
you get this deep in a game, too, is it's not enough to deal economic damage. It's not enough to plan to deal like, okay, we'll trade 2 Vandals for 4, and that'll be okay. It's simply not enough at this point. When you're down 7 rounds, you have to make plays, and with Edith gone, I believe that's one of the Vandals dropped.
No, that's just a sheriff.
Making play. Oh, okay, just a sheriff. Thank you.
Yeah, it's only a sheriff, and that's only Habibti now falling as well with a play in the teleporter.
Don't you dare sneak into the teleporter to catch the next person. That's so rude.
Yeah, and there's Teddy now also falling. 2v5. Annie now with one of those Vandals will be able to make it sing on one. So Sarah's going to be gone and down out of this round. Slandy going to be able to use that second Vandal hopefully to their advantage, but something tells me we might be in for another 40 seconds of running and hiding.
I mean, what else are you supposed to do? 2v4, 13 health on Animal. Have to play now for 8 rounds in a row.
Player standing.
Yeah.
And it's tough when Shopify are feeling it. Alexis just charging straight at you. Slandy, good luck. The corner is your friend. The corner is your friend. Let's go. Let's save a rifle.
We're going to do it. We're going to save a rifle. We could even potentially sneak away with a kill, and that you will, onto Alexis. Meaning, hey, you know what? You talk about economic damage, you know, 2 kills is better than 1, statistically, so.
Well, hey, if Meso Millionaires actually end up getting, like, the next 6 rounds in a row, that one, those 2 kills are gonna matter.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a big if.
Yeah.
I mean, Shopify have won 12 of the last 13.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, if... The silver lining here for Meso Millionaires is they do have excellent economy here. Nearly full armor on everyone. They should have full util. Animal, the only one with light armor for their defense. They don't have any ults, which is a little bit tough. We are 5 rounds into the, 5 rounds into the half. Seeker's available for Alexis too. That makes it very potent, especially as Shopify are going to look to flush these B anchors out and just go for the throat.
Habibti? This could be something for Mesos because Habibti never gets discovered, and so Slandy and Habibti are able to combine. They shut down the SR push of B Long, and oh no, it's all fallen apart thanks to Noya and Mel. There's still a way in for SR as they sneak their way past Garden here. They're out. Annie's caught one. Do you catch the other of Mel? No, you don't. It has to be up to Teddy now, and even you won't find it, meaning it's all up to Edith now. A 2v5. It's all gone wrong.
Edith gonna try and sneak around here. Not going all the way past the cyber cage, playing with time. But Shopify, they're not gonna get in their own heads. They know exactly where Edith's coming from. Domination after domination. 7 maps in a row for Shopify Rebellion. And I mean, Meso Millionaire's shooting right about par. That's about the average amount of rounds that Shopify has been willing to give to any team. So you know, we asked the question. I mean, we're not done. There's still at least one more map, but that map is Shopify's pick. So, gonna be, it was already gonna be a tough road, and the road only gets bumpier from here, it seems.
Yeah, it keeps getting bumpier, and then it just keeps getting steeper. Like now we're sitting at maybe like a 90-degree road.
Yeah, we're free climbing up a rocky cliff at this point. It's not easy. It was never going to be easy, and I think there were a lot of things that Meso Millionaires did really well, especially in those first few rounds, but especially on the attack side, it just looked a little bit indecisive to me. It looked a little bit hopeful. In chess, we call it playing hope chess, right? You make moves hoping your opponent will make mistakes, but if they don't make the exact mistake you're thinking of, then the move you played didn't quite work, right? And it felt kind of like that from Mesos Millionaires on their attack side. You know, they would wait around a little bit, they'd get a bit of showers control, but not cover for the potential TP, not have long control to shut down the TP, or have another player playing ready for trade. Things like that just gave Shopify openings. And if you give Shopify an opening, I mean, forgive the anachronism here, but inches for miles and all that.
Oh yes, no, it's absolutely true, and we've seen just how strong Shopify can be. But as you said, it's not over until the score says 2. So
it's very true.
We have
that's Valor in a nutshell.
We have a second map, but before that, I believe that our time not over, but we do have to toss it back. So Nerds and Zach, please take it away from us and give us all the deets about what you saw.
Thank you, Ancient. Thank you, Pulsable. I mean, that was a interesting game. Kind of expected. Shopify's a very strong team, but to see Misos on the discount aisle through the store, not something you are really hoping to see. I know, Zach, we even DM'd a little bit. You were like, I was hopeful up until round 5. I'll let you talk about that, though.
I mean, yeah, so Misa got off to a really, really strong start, of course, being able to take the pistol, and also that third bonus round. It looked like they, were able to start building up the momentum, but it starts falling apart the moment Sarah starts fragging, gets that double kill towards Long, B Long there, and they were able to convert the Thrifty, and after that Shopify, they just seemed to have the reads, they had the momentum. Like, it was like Mel was playing 3D chess, visualizing where the next rotation was coming in and moving the team accordingly. I think there were like multiple rounds where Mel herself was able to catch 2 kills coming out of the TP and convert the round right there. So I think overall Shopify took them a couple of rounds to get into gear, but once they did, they looked like incredibly strong on their defensive side. And I mean, after the side swap happened, they looked just as comfortable. On the attacking side, and yeah, after the side swap on defense as well, they looked like they were chilling. I think that overall, even though it was a good start for Miso Millionaires on their map pick, I think they weren't able to keep the momentum and just we're a little bit behind in terms of map control. I would say that was the biggest difference maker.
I think honestly that's what kind of feels rough, because they played with a slightly more fun comp. I would say Chamber, Clove. I was like, yes, we're starting to cook, and they got the 3 rounds, and I was like, yes, we're doing it. And then unfortunately it fell apart. We had high hopes, right? I know the desk was also saying like there's possibility, right? There could be another upset. Shopify, they could lose their crown here yet again, fallen like the angels that Angel talks about. But at the same time, unfortunately, it didn't come to fruition. And now heading into Ascent, which is, like we said, it's the fish and chips, the burgers and fries, whatever you want to call it, from wherever you are on this globe. It is the basic standard meal. It's the standard playground for all players. Shopify should have this in the bag.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think bread and butter of Valorant, like if you're any kind of professional team, probably one of the first maps that you learn how to play at a fundamental level. So I think that is kind of the saving grace for Miso as well. It's a map that, they aren't completely bad at either. I think that they've proven to be successful as well in the past. It's just that, any other team, I would put them at like a pretty even standing. This is Shopify. And, I have my question marks because like we brought up in the pre-show, they have been playing without Floor. Sarah's been coming in on that duelist role as a substitute. Miso's been filling in as well. So without their usual 5, with somebody new stepping into that duelist role, how will their attack side shape up? And Sarah said, well, my name is Sarah Frags for a damn reason. So that was pretty good evidence to me, I'd say.
I tried going digging a little bit, by the way. Like, I was like, okay, I wonder what's up with Floor, and I couldn't find much. So wish the best to them. Just, if they ever come and grace the streams here. I do want to give a huge shout out to everyone in the production as well, as we take a little breather. I mean, it's Ascent. I don't know what to talk about. I could just say, oh, wow, they're going to run KO Omen. And the previous game of Vine was also
Jet.
like, it was 4-13. Let's be realistic. That round differential is insane. 9 rounds up, and Shopify looked like, it's like they needed to wake up. It's almost like, oh my gosh, sorry. I drank my, energy drink, my coffee, and I'm ready to go. So I don't want to be like the bearer of bad news, but I do expect this to go, unfortunately, quickly. But we'll see how it goes. We see how it divulges coming up. Ascent, do you have any predictions other than the standard comps and whatnot?
I mean, if they're willing to pick Chamber on Bind, they might be willing to pick Chamber on Ascent. I wouldn't mind seeing a Chamber. I know in 2022 all of us were like kind of disgusted after a point, like, yo, why is this agent even a thing? But I feel like he's actually pretty balanced now compared to the rest of the agents in the pool. My hot take is the most broken agent in the game right now is actually Gecko. So I don't know if I'm completely right about that, but I think he's not broken in a way that screws up the entire game. He's just broken in a way that it makes post plan play out really differently, because you can just get that spike plant down for free. But that's a whole other topic I can deliver like a lecture on that some other day. But yeah, back to Ascent. I mean, honestly, look, I think most teams, they play the default comp because it's the optimal comp for both situations. If you're cooking something, more power to you. I know teams run the Phoenix. I know people are started running the Cypher Deadlock thing. So if you can make it work, that's great. I'll be excited to see it, but I don't have any expectations, honestly. No, I'd be very surprised if we don't see the usual meta comp. What about you?
Yeah, I think it's just gonna be meta stuff. I kind of agree with you on the Gecko point, though. Gecko is not only the most, versatile agent, but the fact that their util refreshes really quickly, a very cerebral Gecko player could do a lot of damage. And I think that, talking about cerebral, I'm going to throw it on over to Ancient and Pulsable to head us into the game. And so we'll see you guys in a bit. Cheers.
Thank you so much, nerds and Zach, for some helpful insight. And Paul, just to add on to that, we're talking about Ascent. I feel like we are in for the most grandiose of 5v5, just base Valorant, nothing special.
Sure. Well, so I've got a little bit of a glimmer of hope then.
Okay.
Because they were, the desk was just talking a lot about compositions, right? We think of the Ascent standard, but yeah, there we go. Meso Millionaires actually like to pivot from the Ascent standard just a little bit. The Astra instead. Very similar, of course. Alexis is on the Deadlock.
All right.
Alexis is on the Deadlock and Noya is on the Cypher. All bets are off.
Nothing.
And they are starting on attack with Double Sentinel. Okay, so all bets are off. Shopify. Is this a silly? Is this a hee hee ha ha? Or they haven't played this composition on Ascent before? I don't think. Nope.
Well, it's time to try some new things. I think that's what we're being told by Shopify. So they're going into this pistol and they're saying, you know what? Let's just 4 players straight through A main. We'll leave Noya on that lurk. But it's gonna be up to Teddy in this close position. Doesn't actually get cleared out by that shock dart. So, double smoke was used, but Slandy didn't find Noya. Ooh.
I have good news. The Deadlock, at least, is not completely unprecedented for Shopify. Of course, this is, kind of the Lev comp, right? But it's just not a composition that Shopify have played before, at least, that we have on record.
Yeah.
It's, of course, a workable comp. And Alexis does have exactly 1 play on the Deadlock before this. So now we're up to 2. Let's go.
And
ooh, goodbye, Teddy.
And hey, that's 2 frags in the server. 1 by Annie, 1 by Sarah. So as things continue to just slaughter out towards this A site, it means that Meso Millionaires in that 2v3. It's all up to Habibti alone in towards this hell position as Slandy's gonna peek out top, meaning it's now just Noya in a 1v2. How things have rocked back and forth. 13 seconds, there's the double face. And Meso's Millionaires take a second pistol in this series, but not to say that the script's going to be the same because we're only 1 round in, but I've seen this one before.
Look. When Cypher Deadlock hits the field for the first time for a team, you just chill. Oh my word.
God, what
255 ACS from Mel last map?
Okay.
No one on Meso had 200.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, that is what happens when it's a 13-4, I suppose.
Yeah. It's,
They'll have an opportunity to pivot that back. At least a chance here. First step, not getting ecoed.
It's true.
Ooh, Teddy's in a bold spot here, too. Uses the star for a smoke as well. Now, if you want to stop a full flood, you'd have to put a second star. Lucky for Teddy, nobody else is walking out there. I do get a little bit nervous when I see people playing that far forward with guns, especially near smokes, because it feels to me like a prime opportunity where if you get caught off guard, you'll drop a Spectre for 2 picks, and on an anti-eco, that can spell quite a bit of danger. But instead, Shopify, they didn't like what they saw. They're going all the way back around, and we'll run into some KJ util.
Sure, you'll run into some KJ util, but once you get through that KJ util, there is nothing left to contest this B site. So for Shopify, this is a really good position. Meso are all stacked over towards this A site. Those smokes are going to go out. That nanoswarm's going to be popped, but Sarah's already deep into the site. And Meso have to try and take this full 5v5 retake.
Oh.
Noya?
You'll get it. It's still on the map. It's not gone.
Okay. There.
Noya, headshot there. At least softens one up.
Yeah. But, player advantage to the side of Meso. They're gonna be able to start this retake underway with all that utility, and now that Edith's found Sarah, that means it's just a 3v5, and Mel actually gets tagged up, which is actually gonna have Misu fall, and there's Edith on that swing, 3 kills on the round. Slandy's able to get theirs, And there you go. I mean, it's not flawless, but it might as well have been because they've kept all of those primary weapons into round 3.
Yeah, very nicely done by Meso Millionaires. When it comes down to a situation like that where Shopify have essentially completed their round 2 objective, they've planted the spike, they've gotten a little bit more money, they'll make sure that they all have full armor going into this 3rd round. Meso Millionaires, the job is just clear your corners. Clear your corners, don't lose gunfights, make sure you're trading. And it's hard to lose that scenario when a retake on B on the 2nd round of the game. An early operator from Edith too. Where do you select for this to go? It looks like it's going to be going B. Is that where it's needed, though? The Astra does a little bit better of a job of holding a site than an Omen will. So Teddy kind of gambling right now, hoping that the stars will be enough to shut things down as Shopify are well on their way.
Yeah, I mean, Slandy is also here, which could, you know, relieve some of this pressure away from Teddy. And now that that 0 point goes in, you know, a lot of these players on the side of Shopify, they've gotten tagged up. So there's those ultimates, though, and it's not gonna... Oh, it does get Teddy just like that. This site is completely open, and Teddy's gonna fall. Misu gets that plant down, and surely...
Poor Teddy.
Just not even a chance in this round.
And there's a trapwire here that is going to absolutely spot the flank. And even if there wasn't, there's also the deadlock cage. So this flank from Slandy, I mean, it doesn't really have many legs. Goodbye, Animal 2. Oh, my word. Noya's not letting anything slip by.
Nope. And that's a save. Just like that. Like, nothing ever happened. We didn't even get a bonus this time from Mesos. It's just they save. You know, in all fairness, you are keeping Vandal and an op, which is huge. And I don't think that op ever shot at all. So
no, nobody contested it, I don't believe.
So that is
unless it shot a camera while things were going over on A. I mean, I believe that op is still undetected. Of course, Shopify will still be aware of the possibility of an op based on the amount of money that was available last round, right? They won't let that one slip by, but the actual hard information has not been given over.
Yeah. It's, you know, one...
Oh, that being said, if Shopify just keeps sending it A, then they don't need to worry about the op, at least for a while.
Yeah. Well, see, now the op isn't over on B. It's now going towards mid for a tiles fight, and if you look at where Noya's positioned, you know, that might... It could have potentially had something, but it's just a camera that gets used, and...
Well, the camera gets shot by the catwalk player, too. So Slandy gets rid of that, and Edith is now able to set up deep for this tiles position. But now it's just a question of will the rotates make it in time to flush Shopify off of A? It seems like Shopify are actually non-committal to that in general. Oh, man. Okay, they don't choose to go up catwalk, so rotating. Edith is in a prime position to get one here. The tailwind has been expended, though. It was used early to get Edith into that position. So are you good for more than one?
Are you good to get one, get out? There's that jump kick
from
Noya, and that's well played. Very good awareness.
So well done.
Yeah.
Those are the sorts of things you expect from Shopify.
Yep.
And the worst part is you only spotted the Cypher, so you're not even 100% sure it's a B take until you heal the rest of this util. So the rotates are gonna come in real late. This op still needs to do work, and the shot whiffs. No.
Okay, well, you know, Edith is able to get out. So
yeah, I thought Edith was caught for a second. That would have been bad.
I was like, wow, that's incredible. That op literally couldn't do anything before it was taken out, but no, there's still a chance as this retake now has to commence. It's a full 5v5 as there are 2 players stucking towards main, Mel being one of them, and Mel looking to frag out. That's a double on the round as Slandy's able to finally shut down that IGL. But there's no way. There's no way they look for Noya, and Noya's able to find one. Could it be 2 of their own? Well, we're going to have to find out, but something tells me it's just going to be the one as Edith, alone in that 1v4, can't get anything done besides
the communication too from Shopify.
Yeah.
Hey, the Astra's out somewhere. Noya clears cat enough to the point where it's like, hey, I don't see the Astra cat. So then Alexis spams the spot inside the switch. I mean, that is just prime from Shopify. It's beautiful. Picture perfect. And now, I mean, the outlaw for Noya, not even feeling the need to go for a gun because you know it'll be an eco round.
Yeah.
Don't bother investing. Oh, actually, for Sarah, rather. It gets shuffled over to her.
It gets brought its way around as, you know, it's all about these kills, all about these frags. Sarah, that first shot, gonna go a little bit wide, and Actually, that's a
I was
flash
shocked
used
that
by-
missed. That looked like a hit to me, but I guess I need my eyes checked.
No, that's also a flash used to get Slandy out of that position in B, but this rotate now through mid over to A, it could actually be the, you know, kind of the jinx for Shopify here, because you know, Paul, that's everyone.
That is everyone. They're not necessarily stacked up all together to trade off each other, but that can be a blessing in disguise if the timing works out right. But Shopify, they're still going to dot their I's and cross their T's, smoke everything they need to.
Yeah, they're still going to make sure that main is smoked. They're still going to try and burst their way onto the site, but Edith is only able to find one before Teddy falls and gets traded out. But Slandy over towards Heaven and Annie are able to make sure things get done, and now it's all Misu 1v3. You can't get it done. Edith gets that Thrifty confirmed and locked in, and Mesos take back the lead.
Really nice round from Meso Millionaire. I mean, you know, thrifty tactics can be a little bit tricky, but Shopify actually overthink it just a little bit, right? They see that resistance in B main and they go, oh, this must be where the 5 stack is, right? They've posted up in B. We don't want to use the util. We don't want to go into a 180-degree crossfire. Let's just rotate. But Meso beat him to the punch. Really nicely done, and I loved the fact that Edith and Teddy were hanging on to A main control there. Edith with the critical pick on Noya at 1.2. So you get a critical pick this round. Are you gonna still fight this? That's maniac stuff, Edith.
That's also a crazy peek from Sarah as well. That I'm flustered by that. I don't know how you get away with that. But that's the world.
But
we
for
live
Sarah,
in.
there, what's the worst thing that happens for Sarah? Sarah trades.
Yeah,
right.
gets traded.
Sarah forces Edith to fight her, and then like Mel's just waiting. Like, yeah, you go for it. I'll be here to pick up the leftovers if there are any.
Yeah.
Sarah leaves no crumbs.
Nope.
And now the A site will be assailed. Oh, they hide the recon dart. Will Meso actually rotate anyone off without info?
I know exactly where it is.
Meso, they've got a clue. SR, they've played this map oh so many times. The macro, while not exactly 1-for-1, it's still Ascent, and Alexis still fragging out means that Annie's gonna fall. That 5v3 comes in. There's the plant from Misu. It took a second. Don't know what the reposition exactly was, but Sarah repositioning into that weird angle on top of that box means that that's one to fall. Habibti, though, quick on the trade, but Mel, again, consistently will get the frag back. And now Slandy, 1v4. Not, again, impossible, but are we expecting it? My guess is no.
And you know, I know one of the popular lines for Shopify is the whole Floor go kill thing, but even with Floor unfortunately having to be gone today, again, we don't know what reason Floor might not be playing, but even with that, even with somebody else on the duelist role, like it straight up isn't Floor go kill for Shopify because their fundamentals are so rigidly uniform. I mean, the way that Sarah and Mel have been playing together the past couple of rounds, and this round especially, right, is perfect coordination between the duelist and like the secondary player, despite the fact that Sarah's not normally the duelist in this role. Yeah. Finally, we get a timeout from Meso Millionaires. And I say finally, I mean, it's 3-3, but man, Shopify just feel in control when they're winning.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's felt like a lot of these times, like, in these last 4 rounds, the one round that Mesos did win, it was the Thrifty, right? Where they 5-stack gambled A, and they got that round. So this is now a timeout, probably just to try and recollect nerves. If I had to just throw something out there, because, I mean, it's very evident that Mesos do have the mechanical ability to win this, right? We've seen it before.
I think what I would like to see from Meso Millionaires here, and one of the struggles that their comp has runs into, is that it's harder for the Astra to assist on an A main fight than it is for an Omen. An Omen can throw a Paranoia, walk away, and go control Catwalk, but the Astra has to do a lot more work, and the timing is a lot more difficult. That's where Meso Millionaires have been unable to even make a dent in the map. A main, every round, Shopify get control. Every round, they get control, usually without losing anybody, too. So Meso Millionaires, I think if we're going to look at one area of the map as a problem section, A main has to be it. You can see Teddy posting up to help Edith, it seems. But how much will they be able to do here?
Yeah, there's not really too much you can do besides just play passive. I mean, that's
What?
a good spam from Teddy. I want to know if a shoulder was spotted there or something. Because I think it maybe was like a shoulder peeked through the edge of that smoke. Because
I mean, it feels like it would be hard for that to happen, but other than just a godlike timing, I can't imagine how else Teddy gets that pick.
I don't know.
Now they're rotating back. They're clearing through Catwalk too. So they've gotten their one pick, and now they're okay with giving a main control because they can set
Teddy.
themselves up for a better post play, but they need to not die. They need to keep their eyes out for Noya. Beautiful little lurk through mid, and the A side's gone before they even know it.
Yeah, and Edith is gonna fall too. 3v4.
Oh.
The barrier mesh comes in, gonna block out Slandy from attempting this retake towards Heaven. There's 2 players rotating in through tree as that door is closed, so gonna have to figure out a way to break that. But all this utility just to, for Slandy to just sit here and buy a little bit of time, just play around a little bit. Mello sitting here,
But look
the
at
spam's
Noya.
gonna come. The spam's
Noya's
gonna
coming
come.
back through mid.
Oh no, Mel's gonna find that, and it's not even a chance for Noya to get that, as Mel is just gonna clean things on up, thanks to the help of Misu, getting their first frag on the board as well. But, I mean, that was
that's
a
around
timeout for Mesos, and it looked good to start things off, but then it's just those timings that you were talking about. It just comes back to rear their ugly head.
And I mean, that's one of those rounds where Shopify just prove how far ahead they can be in North American Game Changers, right? We were talking at the end of the day, will other teams other than FlyQuest Red be able to catch up to Shopify Rebellion? How long will Shopify stay ahead of the pack, even if it is ahead of the pack alongside FlyQuest? And I mean, games like this make it feel like they have lapped the rest of their teams, maybe even twice. This is so phenomenal. Even if Shopify lose out on players, even if they don't find the right timings, they'll find some way to win.
They've gotten that plant, and now it's just about Mesos trying to do some damage, because it really is gonna have to be a war of attrition for Mesos Millionaires, right? Like, being able to take those small numbers and those small advantages and eventually eke your way over on the other side. I feel like that's the only way in, but when you have a team that's as disciplined as
Poor Teddy.
Shopify, Noya just heard that jump, said, there's someone trying to sneak over my trap wire.
Teddy's like, oh, maybe I can do it. Maybe I can get over this. Maybe I can pull one over on Shopify. Nope.
Nope.
Oh, maybe I can timing them as they leap. Nope.
Nope. Mel's got it. And he's just gonna fall to the spike. Oh. Okay, there we go.
Okay. We gotta make a run for it at the very end there.
She's like,
It's
oh no!
only 3-5. It is
Yeah.
not the end of the world yet for Mesos Millionaires. This was a map we expected to be more of a struggle as well. And at least early on, Shopify haven't completely run away with the game. But this is the round that will determine how the rest of this half goes. Up for Edith. 3 crucial ultimates for Mesos Millionaires, but they have to avoid these deadly ults from Shopify. Deadlock Sova, known for getting picks, and if Mesos Millionaires lose the wrong people, they won't have a chance to use their own.
Yeah, it's really, really important that these ultimates find some sort of use case. A retake would obviously be one good example, but there's oh so many more, as Annie, one of those crucial ultimate holders, playing towards tree, was about to get blinded up, but nope, Annie just backs up, and instead it's going to be Misu, the first to use an ultimate, and Edith with that op is going to fall, and Sarah's found their way all the way up and towards Heaven, so there's a backstab available, but Habibti shuts that down and actually finds another on Tamel, meaning it's now a 2v4, but it's Shopify. They can still absolutely win this. It has to be about how Noya and Misu play together. Some shock darts go through, clear out some positions, but Annie doesn't look at like stopping anytime soon until Noya will eventually call things quits. It's now a 1v3, and Noya finds another. It's a 1v2 now.
Noya has the spike!
And has the spike. You can get the rotate. Oh no.
Unbelievable.
I mean, there is that Hunter's Fury available in the hands of Habibti. It could be used, but
there's also plenty of time. Even if you tap the spike and get the Hunter's Fury here, I mean, the timing here won't work to stop the plant. And
No.
if Slandy goes a little bit too fast, doesn't have someone to trade,
Slandy.
runs out into the open, now it's gonna be for Noya.
Noya plants. There's the swing, and Noya gets it! An ace clutch from the Cypher player of Shopify Rebellion! I've seen this scoreline before, Paul, and I don't like it.
Plays him like a fiddle! That's a Cypher player up in your business, got GPS on your damn phone. Noya, absolutely unreal. The way that Noya messes with every single player, knows the position of every single player. First, Animal rather, swinging out after the kill, getting greedy, boom, put down. Teddy trying to contain, eliminated. And then catching the greed of Slandy too. Unbelievable. That's a morale breaker if you're not careful for Mesos Millionaires. And Shopify aren't giving them time to think. It's on to A.
They're just running straight in, and Habibti can't even find a thing. Edith next to fall as well. Means that this round, it's going to be, you know, a pretty quick site take. It's really going to be about that site hold and what these Meso Millionaires players can find in that retake. But from what we've seen so far, I feel like you and I have the same dread that Mesos Millionaires can't find a thing, as Teddy can only find one before falling. Slandy's gonna try and jump in, but won't find any more than just Mel, as Misu, 4 kills on the round. Able to close things out for Shopify.
It's tough that the timeout for the first half has already been used, because after 2 throat-crushing rounds like the last ones, you would desperately want to take a breath, but Mesos Millionaires will have no such luck. They'll simply have to buy into a force. We're getting down to the wire on this half. They need another couple of rounds, so any piece that of the pie that they can try and find will be what they have to stretch for. Mesos Millionaires, they're better players than I ever could be. I'm sure they have a better mental as well. But if I was in a game and these last 2 rounds happen to me, I'm packing it up.
Yeah. I'm a double teleport.
They won't! They're better than me. But it's tough for anyone.
It's really tough, and you can see Slandy having to run away. You don't want to give your life immediately to the monster that is Sarah, but Mel already in the back of the site makes it impossible for you to do anything. Misu gets that kill. That plant gonna go down yet again. Mesos, it just feels like history will keep on repeating until the end of time. And he's gonna break that door, but there's Mel to get that kill, break your skull right open, and now as Misu just continues to try and frag, it's done. It's done, it's dusted, it's over. There's still one more round in the half, so there's potential for another 8-4, but I mean, that was just dominant.
You know what vibes I'm getting from these last couple of rounds? Do you watch Jujutsu Kaisen at all, Angel?
Not you know, I'm not really
No,
a
you
big
haven't?
watcher,
Okay.
but I am a knower.
Darn.
You know,
There's a fight at the end of season 1 where just like 4 black flashes are hit in a row.
Okay.
And there's just nothing
Yeah.
you can do to recover against that. For context, anyone who knows JJK will know. I feel like that's exactly what we're seeing here. Shopify, they've gotten in the zone, and they have no plans on getting out of it anytime soon. Habibti even spotted. We'll just have to seed A main entirely. Meanwhile, Edith having no luck in mid.
That's a neural theft now getting used. They know it's kind of a 2-2 split. They're gonna just completely collapse on this A site. Habibti and Tree can only do so much before you just have to give it up. Annie's been spotted out by that silly little recon dart as Sarah just continues to steamroll her way through that site. And now it's a 3v5. Teddy has snuck their way out over towards this side and will eventually get found out by Mel. Spike ticks ever closer. Habibti behind the smoke won't even get just nothing. Just gone. Smoke fades, they're both gone. 9-3.
Flawless is the right word. Thank you, Valorant announcer. You're doing my job for me there. Shopify. I mean, this would be if they manage to win if they win Pistol.
Yeah.
I mean, the game is over, first off, but there's not much of a chance that they even drop a single round, right? If they manage to get out of here with 3, that would be what, 27 maps dropped in 27 rounds dropped, not maps.
Yeah.
Um,
In 8.
yeah,
but-
in 8. Last Ascent, they started 3-9. Well, they ended up winning. That wasn't against Shopify. Is all I gotta say against that. But maybe.
Yeah, right?
So you're saying there's a chance is the absolute mood right now.
Well, you know, they are going to start going towards mid,
look
and
at
this is something that Shopify really didn't do a lot of in their half, and that partially has to do with the limitations of the comp. But we're going to have to see.
Sarah's waiting, too, for Mel to get contact, so if you try to go hard through mid here, yeah, even with Sarah playing in Pizza, I mean, you have to go catwalk now, and it's being watched.
You're stuck in towards Cat. It's all up to Noya, and Noya has been an absolute beast, and you can see it just continues to frag. Noya will not let up, and now, Teddy, you've been the last alive before. What can you do this time? You can get headshot by Noya.
Yeah, it's
4K on the
it's nightmarish when your opponent is able to funnel you around the map like that on a pistol of all things. On a pistol, you don't even really have much util. Sarah peeks her head out of A main a little bit, then waits for the smoke to expire. Then just plays a little bit of tag with the enemy killjoy and doesn't even commit to the fight until Paranoia comes through. We know their catwalk here. Well, Paranoia will fight him. We'll kill them all. And suddenly it's 10-3. Meso Millionaires, they have to buy into this round. They're certainly not living up to the second part of their name.
Well, it's from rags to riches, right? That's the whole thing, and unfortunately, it's kind of hard to go from rags to riches when you're getting torn apart.
Rags. These might be staying rags for the rest of Ascent. I hate to knock them, but when Sarah's shooting like that, come on.
It's hard when you're just getting torn apart. Just torn to pieces. Annie will eventually find one, but Sarah 4 on the round with that outlaw. Just make sure you can't do a thing.
I'm not gonna lie. I love Shopify. Don't get me wrong. I kind of wish Sarah had gotten bodied at the very end of that. I mean, sitting there and tanking the Killjoy turret for 3 rounds. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. You can't do that and then swing away with the tailwind and then come back. That ain't nice.
Yeah, and that was
Let
a
him
force.
play the game, man.
That was a force from Meso. So they're kind of on this force.
But all they have left is forces.
Yeah.
All they have left is forces. Even here, it's a sheriff force almost across the board. One desperate little judge, but it won't stop Sarah.
Nothing will stop Sarah at this point, other than
It feels
a bullet
like it.
to the brain. Alexis, the bastion of B now, as Sarah has moved on to greener pastures. You can see it's just again, Meso's just
It's oppressive the way Shopify play the map. They get a pick in mid, Sarah pulls back, and then the util and the Guardian spams with the Sarah reposition. And Alexis is hiding here, so Animal can't even get more out of that. Even that one pick.
Mel.
Oh no. No. No.
Mid.
Oh, man. Shopify know how to put on a show, even when they're up 8 rounds. They make it fun.
It's a nice day. It's a nice day for a game, and it's a nice day to get dropped.
Is Misu not even letting Alexis get the pick? Like waiting in that corner the whole time, specifically for that pick. It's like, no, it's mine. No, mine.
That's really
Yoink.
funny though. You have to give credit where credit is due there. Just no, it's my kill actually. I want it.
Obscuring vision.
Oh, poor Teddy. How many times have we seen it?
Not enough, because Mel's just gonna jump in.
Turned into Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
The smoke in the box ain't enough cover. Not on your life. Match and map point Shopify 1 round from the grand finals. Can they get all the way to the grand finals without dropping a total of 30 maps or 30 rounds? I did it again. 30 rounds across 8 maps. It's looking pretty likely.
It's ever increasingly the case as Misu has a nice little Odin.
Snuff them out.
So there's that. Sarah has the Blade Storm.
Cover going
Also super, super big, as we know just how they've all been shooting, right? SR just continues to frag out. It has to be this play towards mid, this deep dive that Edith is doing to try and find something, but Mel with that judge! Are you kidding me again?
Just
But
unreal.
Edith, wait a minute. Edith could actually have a backstab, but if your whole team falls before then, Alexis is gonna check. And now it's all up to Teddy. Like we've said 1,000 times before, there's only so much that they can do before they're dropped. Alexis closes it out. You mentioned it. Less than 30 rounds dropped by SR. It was 27 in total over the last 8 maps, and they found themselves in grand finals.
Less than 3.5 per map that they've played, if I'm doing my caster math right. Don't do caster math, folks. It never goes well. But I think that's correct. Somebody can pull up a calculator and double check me. But Shopify, I think there's no doubt in my mind that they are still... I mean, you can make the argument even #1 team in North America, if not one of the top 2, because FlyQuest has at least caught up to them enough to give them a run for their money like we saw in the first qualifier. But one series does not the season make by a long shot for Shopify Rebellion. They are putting down other teams left, right, and center, and nothing but pure dominance. The first 3 rounds, there was an inkling of, oh, is there something here? And then it was just a blowout for the rest of the day. Shopify simply stand head and shoulders above the rest.
They did an excellent job at doing so. The big thing that you have to also give credit for is the fact that they've brought Misu in as this emergency sub. They've shifted all of these roles around. Like on that map, we know for a fact that Alexis and Sarah were both on different roles from what they normally play, and they both did phenomenally well. And you know, Misu even being able to hold their weight, you know, it's kind of a big space to fill when floor is gone, and it just feels like Shopify have not lost any steam whatsoever. They're all full up. Tank is on F.
And credit where it is due to Mesos Millionaires. They didn't quite get to riches from their rags today. But I still think that there were moments of excellence. Maybe not brilliance, as we saw from Shopify, but moments of excellence, right? Individual moments from players across the board. I mean, Animal, you talked about. Teddy, even on map 1, had a tough map too. But map 1, I would say Teddy had some phenomenal moments too. I think of that one round where Teddy used the Not Dead Yet to admittedly bamboozle Shopify a little bit, right? So absolute excellent moments from Mesos Millionaires, but Shopify are more than excellent there, and they have more than moments. They are simply the best across the board, it seems.
Yeah, they did an excellent job. And speaking of excellent job, I'm gonna go and just say that, Paul, now map 2 is over. So the score has read 2. Our time is over. Thank you all for you know, giving us our little moment, but I want to go pass it to some people that do an excellent job on the other side of the stream. That's our analyst desk. It's going to be Zach. It's going to be Nerds. Take it away and just kind of wrap things all up in a nice little bow for us.
If the first game was the appetizer, I think we just had a feast for Shopify Rebellion. Because not only was just like the score lines, but just like the way that they played, multiple highlight reel worthy moments happening from some players, the ace, the 4Ks, the absolute coordination between them. And it started off extremely similar. I don't even have an orthodox entrance for us. Like, I don't know what to say, Zach. That was just insanity to watch. And I'm so happy I caught some of the highlights just because, wow.
Yeah, I think that was Shopify, you know, looking to be in full control, looking to be at their best, fully confident. And, you know, like both of our casters were saying, this is them without their usual player, with at least 2 of their members subbing into different roles. So despite that being a possible, something that most other teams would struggle with, Shopify, what is it now, 8 maps in a row, less than 30 rounds dropped, everything that both of our casters did highlight is true. And they just look great making their way to the grand final. I think being able to have such a confident, dominant semifinal 2-0, not just 2-0, but a 13-3 and a 13-4 at that level, it's going to set them up quite well for that grand final. So very excited to see how they're going to be doing there. I mean, honestly, this is the Shopify that we're used to seeing, and it's them without floor. Just saying.
I mean, that is crazy to see. Currently, it's been a clean sweep for them, and it's to be expected that Shopify is going to dominate. But to this level, I want to see them have a little bit of bleed a little bit, right? Like, you want to see some humanity out of them because right now these guys are monsters on the server. I do want to also touch up, Ollie, how the bracket YFPX and Oomphies are currently 18-8. Shouts out to Arca, one of the admins who's a homie of mine, giving me live updates. 18-8 in 18-18. Sorry, in
Yeah, I was so confused.
Sorry, 18-18. A little misspoke there, but insane overtime happening on the other end. Just goes to show the competition is fierce, and whoever wins from that bracket is going to be going up against Shopify Rebellion. Another kind of word to the wise, potentially we might be seeing YFPX and Oomphies on the stream, considering how fast Shopify Rebellion won out. They won so fast, so dominant. They're like, okay, we need to fill in some time, so let's just try and, you know, game number 2 of YFP versus Oomphies.
I mean, well, the more the merrier. You know, we got to see a very quick Shopify Rebellion victory. Maybe, you know, if we can have some of that 18-18 overtime energy coming into this, you know, at least set us up for that grand final. Maybe get some more Valorant action. But yes, like you said, Map 2 is going to be broadcasted on stream. So we're going to be cutting to that after this game ends, which honestly, if you're saying 18-18, I have no idea why. So
it's on Lotus too.
So yeah, that ain't ending anytime soon. Like, I swear most of the insane overtime games I'm seeing these days are on Lotus. You know, it used to be Split. Split used to be the map where everyone could go and vibe on overtime, you know, 24. I still remember that TSM game, like really, really long game that was like 26-24 or something like that. That was like 3 years ago, but it's still like burned into my soul. So yeah, it seems like Lotus is the new Split map, I would say. But yeah, you know, before we head off, you know, I was thinking about things to analyze since I'm supposed to be here as an analyst, and the only round that really stood out to me was Noya's ace. So I took the liberty of making like a little Valo plant decoration because, you know, this is the first time I actually have the privilege to do that. So you know, back to Noya's ace, if we can pull up. There we go. Yes, it's not very fancy. It's very basic. I'm sorry, guys. Put up with me. But yeah, you know, Noya's ace round. I think this was like round 7 or 8. I forget which one. I think 8. So basically, Noya, you know, able to trade out a couple of kills with her team. Everybody else dies, and it's just Noya on a 1v2. Makes her way onto site. Knows that the Sova has the ult. Taps the spike once. You know, gets the ult out of the way, and taps it again to enable one of these players to push forward. And, you know, the KO pushes forward. Noya gets the isolated fight, takes out the KO. Boom. Now it's a 1v1. And again, despite position being known thanks to a recon coming out of the Sova, Noya still is able to take that fight again by just being able to consistently tap those spike plants. And yeah, I mean, when it's a 1v1, I don't think we're really in any doubt whether Noya can clutch it out. So yeah, boom. Really crazy ace round there. And again, Shopify, their team that once they get that momentum in their pocket, it just seems to be going completely in their favor. And, you know, the cherry on the cake, you know, Noya even managed to get the spike plant. So that's really nice.
I mean, just I was so happy because I was trying to find out like the previous game stats. I come back. That's the first round I saw when I got back to the desk, Zach. I think I was literally talking to you about it. I was like, I am so excited to see that. But it's just unfortunate, right? I hope that our excitement doesn't bring Meso a little bit of dread. I think they did a really good job. They got pretty far, and GC is always about just climbing the ladder as much as possible and seeing how well you stack up. I mean, obviously Meso has been a top contender in the past, but just continuing that pressure and moving forward, trying to take down some of the Titans and really showing that you're a top team is really huge to keep the GC scene up. I mean, other than that, any updates on the YFP game? For me, all I see is still 18-18. I'm going to ask production if they have any, but we do get a confirmation that we are going to be going to the second game of that, which will be the Haven. So they're going to be going to Haven right after this. I don't know if it's going to be casted on our end. We're definitely going to be showing it. And if you're interested, go check it out on Radiant as well. But don't hear any updates from them. So we don't know what the score is going to be just yet, but still, 19-18 YFP. There we go. Love T. Thanks for the info. You gave us the T there. Nice little sip. But yeah, I mean, they're having a slugfest there. Shopify showcasing dominance and just absolute insanity. So before we head to a break, Zach, any final thoughts?
Oh, man. Let's go. Let's see if we can get it to another overtime. We need new records week. No, I'm kidding. But yes, we'll be back afterwards. I'm sure Shopify versus whoever wins this is gonna be a banger. So yeah.
Well, with that, we're gonna see you guys in a bit. Cheers.
Bet you weren't expecting us again. Oh, jump scare. We have just a little bit of time. Ooh, hold on. I'm a little blurry.
Okay, but we gotta get into this.
There we go.
We gotta speed
Yeah,
run this.
go
I
for
don't
it.
care if you're blurry,
Here,
Angel. We gotta
here.
get moving.
Go ahead.
We got YFPX versus Oomphies here. They just finished map 1. It was 20-18 overtime on Lotus. For all of you just joining us, maybe we finished Shopify Rebellion versus Meso Millionaires lickety split. Shopify only dropping a paltry few rounds across the entire series. Across 8 maps, they've only dropped 27 the entire qualifier. But on the other side of things, I think more rounds were played in just that one map than we got in our whole series.
Yeah, no, that's about right. YFPX had a 38 round game, and we were sitting at about 33 rounds. So, you know, just to let it be known, one map of YFPX versus Oomphies, more rounds than every single round, or every round, or both maps of Shopify Mesos. So, talking about these two teams, there were the rosters up on your screen. You can see on the side of Oomphies, Terror, Panini, Avery, Supercat, Carry, all very much mainstays within GC. You know, at one point, a lot of these players were on, you know, that old SNG roster. And for YFPX, you might know them as Solstice, who were playing together earlier in the year, the exact same 5. Now they're just brought over under the YFPX banner. They're looking really solid. And, you know, fun fact about both these teams, Paul, in the last qualifier, both of them were knocked out by, guess who? Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah, no matter who takes this series, the grand final of our second closed qualifier for Series 3 here in NA Game Changers will be one of these two trying to get revenge on the big dogs of Shopify Rebellion. We take a look at the maps that have come through here, folks. Lotus was where we started. No, I don't think it was split. Lotus was, in fact, where we started, and it was a 20-18 win. Right?
Yeah,
we're looking at our
YFP.
old map selection here, folks. This was for our previous series, but for this series, it was 20-18 on Lotus, and now we head to map number 2. It was actually Oomphies who picked Lotus as well for that first map, so losing their own map pick, if only by a hair. Now they'll have to flip YFPs back on them. We go to Haven for our map number 2.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little 3-site derby that was going on. And now that we're headed into Haven, a map that we were actually expecting in the Shopify game, we get it here, and the kind of question overall that has to be stated is, will there be recourse for now Oomphies, as they did lose to YFPX? Do we see Oomphies actually able to take this map and bring us to a map 3 and able to recover a kind of devastating loss of 20-18? Or is it just going to be that momentum?
It can be heartbreaking to lose, especially your own map pick by such a narrow margin, right? But with some time to reset for Oomphies, I don't think they should be looking at Haven as a sour experience for them as our map number 2. Haven is one of those maps where everybody plays it, right? It's like Ascent, everybody knows how. And Oomphies actually play it with a little bit of a secret weapon. They don't quite play that standard composition, right? We think of a Haven comp, we automatically go to the Jet, Breach, Sova, Omen, Killjoy usually, sometimes Cypher. And that's what YFPX like to play most of the time. But on the other side of things, Oomphies actually like to switch it up a little bit. They throw an oddity into the duelist mix. Not that odd at this point. We've seen it pop up more and more on Haven, especially when you look at like the tier 1 play and pro, and we saw it a lot at Champions. The Neon coming in instead, and this is our correct map pick and ban. There we go, that 2018, and now we head to Haven. So I'm interested to see how a little bit more of a modern composition, a little bit more of a current composition, holds up against the good, tried and true Haven standard comp.
Yeah, the kind of modernization that we were talking about is going to be really interesting on a map like Haven. We know very specifically how unique that this kind of map is right now in the meta, where you have a lot of teams that are actually very slow to adapt, like Shopify, who's still running like the same 5 agents that we saw 2 years ago. But you know, on the other side of things, it's gonna be that Neon in the hands of Supercat for Oomfies, and actually no Killjoy on either side. It's gonna be Cyphers all the way around, which I think is gonna start to become more and more common, just because Cypher, that kind of limitless utility.
Well, and especially as a tool, a lot of teams have learned how to play around the lockdown, right? The Cypher has a lot more variety in the ways that you can set up and use the Cypher at the very least. So it's harder to counteract, it's harder to suss out, especially against a team who might not have played that much. We're off into the second map here, already striking. Oomfies trying, but they get hit back twice as hard.
Yeah, Marceline able to take out 2 members of Oomfies to open things up for YFP, as now they are going to just go and start to journey their way over towards B, potentially catch out some rotations. As for Oomfies, they've just gone for the 1-1-1 spread, right? Make sure that every site has got a body on it, and make sure that every angle is sort of half-watched.
It'll end up just being the 3v4 retake on C here, undoubtedly. This trapwire will give a little bit of information, but unless you're going to try and go forward with like a cyber cage or something, spam isn't really going to be available. Scary Shark is rather low. Oh, okay, Scary Shark swings!
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's a 3v3. I mean, if you're going to do that and nobody trades you, then yeah, I mean, that's one way to give Oomfies a little bit better of a chance, but Corrupt's going so far forward. Marceline with him. Oh, my word.
With that shot, it was actually all a bait for Corrupt, but you won't be able to get it because Terror shuts it down. It's now all up to Elaborate. A 1v3, but you find the first 2, meaning that now it's all up to that breach. On Oomfi's side, it's all up to Avery, and she won't get it. Elaborate able to close things down. YFP able to take that pistol round easily.
Nicely done by Elaborate. Well, easily.
Okay, well,
but
it was a 1v3,
managed to
but
swing. I wouldn't call a 1v1 at the very end easily necessarily. 1v3, I mean, Elaborate makes it look easy at the very end. We can go with that at the very least. Nice trick of the hat there. Good timing from Elaborate to catching the breach off. Completely unsure of where that Cypher might have been. Now an easy potential buy here, although Elaborate possibly going to be lurking. No buy from Elaborate, instead holding just the Ghost. A 3rd round op even possible here for YFP. I don't know if they would go into that on the attacking side.
Instead, it's just going to be Corrupt finding Terror. So, hey, look, it found its value. Corrupt able to take things and get that player advantage.
And Corrupt's a player I'm actually personally really familiar with. Corrupt played on the University of Virginia, if I'm remembering correctly. Was one of the best statistical initiators throughout the spring semester, despite the fact that UVA as a team struggled. Corrupt and I think it was Practo, the other player on that team, who did a lot well. Oh wait, no, Corrupt didn't play initiator for them. It was Practo who played it. But Corrupt did phenomenal too. I remember that much at the very least. Well, so
Corrupt,
excited to see that nice little body shot there. Do you give away the outlaw? It seems so, but Elaborate, ready to try and catch that. Make sure it doesn't get out of hand.
Elaborate's still just going to be holding this flank, but the shots get a little messy. It will eventually go the way of the YFPX player, and now Avery, they want a rematch from before. Elaborate, there you go. That's another shot that goes their way. It just seems like that Ghost can't miss, and this retake, it's now all up to Carry alone on the site. So much to do in a 1v4.
Does it seem like he can't miss? I feel like I saw him miss a couple of times. But Elaborate hits the shots when they count. Hits the shots when they count. That's what matters.
Exactly. Well,
back-to-back 3Ks for Elaborate. Already the Neural Theft available here in round number 3. Now I'm interested to see what is done with Elaborate's stacking economy. It seems like no round 3 op is actually the name of it. Although surely you throw somebody a Vandal here so they can have full armor, right? Surely.
Yeah. Right.
Although,
no, it's a bonus.
I guess you can wait until the next round.
Yeah, it's
if
a bonus.
Look, I like it when teams go for really deadly bonuses and invest, but you can just go for a tried and true bonus as well. There's no harm in that. YFP.
Yeah.
Just playing for the future economy.
In all fairness, it is Corrupt.
Banking
and
on this.
It's still a Sheriff, and that Sheriff is still deadly in their hands, so for Panini, who's just trying to play Spam Wars over towards this C-long position, you know, you just smoke off, you play it, and let YFP try and find a rotate somewhere else. But when you all in like that, look at the position from Terror over towards A-long.
And this can be one of the difficulties about playing the Neon comp if you are not going to play aggressively for skirmishes. If you're not going to play for map control and get your Neon set up really far forward, is you can lose map control very easily. There's not much that Terra is going to be able to do here. Neon doesn't hold space as well as a Jet might because that tailwind, right? Unless your movement is sublime and you feel confident enough. Nice shot from Terror, though. That'll at least put a bit of a hinder on the YFP stride toward A.
That's the Jet gone. There's no dive available onto this site, so Terror now, with that Guardian, you know, could potentially go for another one here onto Scary Shark. Left. If they get caught out, things could be disastrous, and that they will. Super Cat and Terror both falling, actually, as YFP, they have found a way in, but there's still a brawl going on towards CT as Carrie and Avery are able to come collect, and now it's that breach of YFP, left all alone, 10 seconds.
10 seconds left.
I don't think a 1v3 is in the cards for YFP this time.
Just looking to do as much damage as possible. Denied even the wallbang on that one. You gonna just steal away the Vandal here? No, I don't think so. You're gonna get run down.
Yep.
At least makes it more expensive. That is perfectly okay for YFP. It's a round that they didn't invest into. And they didn't even use that Neural Theft either, so I like to see them holding those sorts of critical ultimates. It is available for carry on the other side of things. And actually the economy already looking a little bit dicey.
Yeah.
For Oomfies. I mean, we've got only a Sheriff heavy armor here for Terror. They lost 3 guns. Apparently they could not afford that. So they must have heavily invested in terms of utility there.
Yeah, for YFP, this is a really nice spot to be in, and that's an even better spot to be in if you're able to just take out Super Cat like that. But hey, there's that Sheriff of Terror just wreaking havoc on Elaborate. It now brings that Sentinel offline, and good steal away. So, you know, no gun to be collected in the hands of the Sova, but, I mean, all things considered, this is still a pretty decent start for Oomfies, right? You get
Terra's getting great information here as well. It is going to be a B plant. This, I mean, a B retake is going to be hard. You're looking for Carry to get something done here, but there goes Carry, the Paranoia, not going to be able to get much out of it. Panini disposed of 2. Terror on the flank, good for another at least. But now surely you just pivot C, right?
I mean, that's
the spike. Don't lose the spike. Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
That's the goal, right? We pivot C, you go through garage, you don't get headshot, and then all of a sudden you can get that spike plant and you can play out the 3v2 post plant to your wildest imaginations. That stun does slow the retake attempt significantly, as now Terror, you've got a long way to go to try and clear out all those
got
angles.
no info.
Basically
absolutely
nothing.
none.
Nothing. And that stun, it doesn't even stun up everyone as Marceline just continues to post up, leaves Avery in a 1v3. You find the first, but you still have 2 more to go. You can stick that, and you're not going to get caught out by that recon dart, so it has to be the swing from Scary Shark to get you off that spike, and you will do that. So YFP, they recover, they get that 3rd round. Not the cleanest round ever, but it's still, you know, there's a lot of room there that YFP was able to work with.
Yeah, I think they showed the right ideas even once they lost 1-2 Terror. They made sure that the rifle didn't go away. Imagine if 2 rifles were available for Terror and Avery instead when they come through garage there. That could have been a different round potentially. Maybe they fight together a little bit more aggressively, but especially that concuss coming out from Scary Shark. I mean, just so well timed off the audio information that the Owl drone was coming through, and you know you just got shot at from garage, so you know where they're coming from. Very nicely done by YFP. Very reactive, very quick to react, rather, is what I mean. And nice stun, but an even better cage. I mean, you're. Well, never mind. You're not clear. But a good
it's not. It was a nice attempt, but that little gap in the cage is what Super Cat exploits. Able to get rid of that, and now again a 4v4. But we know that these 1-for-1 trades, they tend to help the attackers, and on an already attacker-sided map like Haven, it's only going to further the cause. That Owl drone's going to get committed to kind of clear out this A main, which will buy some rotates over, because look at the other side of the map. It's all alone. That single Omen on Oomfies has to try and do so much here. Panini, just the absolute world on their shoulders right now.
Off your feet!
Rolling Thunder to take Garage. That's very bold. Panini here, I mean, probably good for one, right? That's a tough angle to clear, but gets spotted. And now the jig is kind of up. Panini, I think you might just have to abscond from this one.
Well, no, Panini wants to brawl, and a brawl they'll get, but they will fall to the hands of Terror. But you can see this run out from the smoke. It actually kind of favors Oomphies here. Avery's able to trade out 1 for 1, and now a 1v2 for Melia as Avery continues to jiggle to provide room for the run up from their teammate, and Terror is able to find that trade too, meaning it's a 2-3 for Oomphies. They're able to get that thrifty against YFP.
Terror, I don't want to see a rifle. Throw the rifle away.
Get it out.
Throw it away. That Sheriff is too nasty. Get it out of there. Sheriff is monstrous from Terror. That is simply unbelievable at the very end there. A tough clear, too. I mean, when the Hunter's Fury gets one, like when the Hunter's Fury is committed, I'm thinking, oh, well, they're not going to have enough guns on the site. But Corrupt, unfortunately, doesn't expect a second one, doesn't expect Avery to be back site, so takes down Carry, but then gets eliminated swiftly thereafter. And they lose back site control, and there's not much that the rest of YFP can do in that situation. Now they're just going to try and send it C.
Oh, there's a Cypher trip here. I mean, it does get taken care of by a shock dart, but Marceline already over towards default. There is one player here in the name of Panini, but oh, Terror on the run through the smoke gets shut down by Marceline too. As now that C site completely in the hands of the attackers, but Avery and Carey are looking to start that retake early, just way before that spike goes down. But YFP continue to hold, continue to stabilize, but Avery and Supercat, they don't care. They want it done, and they get it dusted. Oomphies, confident retake off the back of that thrifty round, and they tie things up.
Oomphy's doing an excellent job of, taking advantage of the fact that YFP don't seem to know how to take their foot off of the gas. I thought when it became a 3v3, YFP, they still had good site control. I think there was a world where in which they could have tried to wait and play off each other, play off contact, swing, and trade favorably, but instead you see Melia trying to swing out a little bit, elaborate, losing the last fight. It gets a little bit dicey. I think YFP, they need to take a little bit of a breather. And now that they're on a full eco instead of a force, they'll have to.
Yeah, you have to try and get a little bit risky here, right? And this is now risks you need to take rather than risks you wanted to take.
It's still 3 and 3, right? I mean, there's nothing to lose on an eco round, but
for sure. That's everything to gain, though. When you get a shot like that from Scary Shark, you get a lot here. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, at least they're able to take one with them, and Avery's also able to find one, meaning things are a 2v2, but considering this was an eco, things are starting to get a little out of control here. There's Panini in the back of the site, in that smoke. Melia's going to be able to pick up that Vandal, though, and there is one player towards heaven in the name of Carey. So, again, a lot to be gained here, and there's that from the shadows. Is they spotted? Panini is it, and Panini gets both! A clutch out of Oomphies to match the clutches from YFP means that they're looking pretty as they take the lead.
My heart dropped as Panini went from the shadows, and the Cypher decided to swing heaven. I thought that there was a miscommunication or something along those lines. Carey, I thought, had just unfortunately walked out to the doom of the round. But Panini able to at least take somewhat advantage of the slight chaos caused by that swing. I mean, from the shadows, I suppose more difficult to hear when gun shots are going off. But it looked like they knew where Panini was. They were just both low. And Panini, the shots rung true just barely to keep Oomphies in that round. Nearly a thrifty for YFP, but nearly doesn't count. Nice couple of picks. Terra does answer back, but...
And Corrupt took out Melia.
Oops.
Little silly team kill. YFP, 2v3.
I'm curious as how Melia took enough damage.
The swing from Terror?
Before, it must have been.
Right? That had to have been it. Yeah.
All right. Now YFP, they just have to cut noise.
Yeah, they're trying
to hope that someone pushes them. I mean, that's an op on Elaborate. Pushing 2v3 here is very difficult. Corrupt gonna walk up. That's the player that can afford to. Blues in their corner.
Oh, it's the op from Elaborate to check, and Actually, Carry was here in the back of the site. The recon though, oh, spots the second scan, and now Carry's gone. This was a 2v3 in YFP's hands, but now, just like that, it's all up to Panini. That Owl Drone, it does see the Omen, so there is a lot to work with, but Elaborate swinging through the smoke, and that's Sova. It doesn't matter that they got spotted. It's Corrupt to get that kill. Just barely YFP find their way to a fourth.
Okay.
What a round.
I can see how the previous map went 18-20.
Yes.
I can see it. Because these two teams play the end of their rounds the exact same way.
Yep.
Which is stay where you are and hope you win a fight. Both teams, after the first couple of trades, they stop moving. They hope somebody pushes them. When somebody pushes, they don't. They inch toward each other. And then they inch toward each other at like the same time. And whoever gets the favorable angle is coming out on top right now. It almost feels like a coin flip between these rounds. I mean, that one very nicely done by Corrupt, not over swinging at the very end there. A bit bizarre for Elaborate to swing out the smoke when it seemed like the information had been given. But either way, YFP, despite winning the round, going to take a breather now. They go, hey, whoa, these last few rounds been a little crazy. Let's calm down a bit.
Yeah, they calm down, they zen. Like you were talking about, this is a game of milliseconds that's played out in the matter of minutes. It's ridiculous, but this is the game, and it's tied up. It's neck and neck. This timeout for YFP is basically about the fact that they're buying down to bits, right? Everyone here on both sides, actually, regardless of the team, you know, this is a back-breaking round either way. Because
it's an eco for Oomfies, but it's a very vulnerable round for YFP. 3 light armors across, and that's something that they have to consider. So they're going to go toward B. That's a bold choice. If they get the plant safely, they'll be in the clear to win the post plant, but man, that's bold. Just hoping that no one was waiting in the wings, hoping that Marceline doesn't drop a gun back sight, and they actually bail out of the plant. They're going to try and pivot C.
Elaborate? All the way stuck with that op over towards A. Look to take a fight. Actually misses that shot, but Panini hits theirs onto Marceline. And there's the classic from Supercat coming through. And now all of these players from YFP, they're all corralled into this one little tiny area known as Garage. And there's a flank that's been going on
an op long.
by Supercat.
There's an op C long now.
There's an
How are you going to play it safe?
Oh, you just can't. You can't even get a plant down in the first place because there's the stab up from Panini. And now as Terror looks to try and do that layup, that alley-oop, Scary Shark, 1v3, there's only so much you can do before you get inevitably thriftied by Oomfies to take the lead back into their hands.
Winning a round, taking a pause, and then getting thriftied is heartbreaking. It's tough. YFP, they've got to recollect themselves, and a bizarre full bail from the B site. I mean, I understand that there was utility, like the aftershock came through, there were shock darts they were worried about, but Marceline had the dominant position. You still had smokes up. You'd cleared the site in its entirety. I'm befuddled that YFP didn't commit, or at least try to re-hit the B site. Even re-hitting B, like, out into A link, try and get rid of some of those players, take a fight on one front. Now they'll be forced back down to low eco, and I mean, Supercat at least gets spotted with the op. So, a silver lining, allegedly.
Well, now YFP, they're kind of known. It's that B site that they want to hit, but Avery and Panini, just both of them playing that two-player site hold excellently as Carry now comes in as that third.
That was some W key warrior stuff.
Yep.
Go up there. Hit the trap wire, did not stop. Went to A link, did not stop. Only bullets could stop Corrupt, and that they did.
Yeah,
at least one for Elaborate, but
yeah.
I mean, good luck, IFP. The spikes dropped, past smokes on B. There's an op holding the spawn too, so you can't even try to like wiggle your way past the defense, and now you're spotted too. It's done.
You're spotted, you're stunned, you're about to get double swung. I mean, this is... If Elaborate can get away with a kill, I'd call that success.
It's been very back and forth. Even this late in the half, keeping people's economy in check is important. But with 4 alive, Oomfies are going to feel fine. Likely for the rest of the half at this point.
Yeah. They've got a bye secured for the rest of the half. Even when you look at Super Cat, right? An op in their hands, they have 6,500 in the bank.
2 rounds remaining.
Yep.
And you have to imagine, too, Oomphy's got to be feeling great that they've already secured 6 on the defense. Like I said, I don't think the Neon, unless you're playing aggressively, in which we haven't seen Oomphy's do, necessarily lends itself as comfortably to defense. It's not unplayable by any stretch of the imagination. Supercat going forward. Ooh, Recon Dart actually goes a little bit too deep. Supercat has a potential to post up on this angle now and catch someone off guard. The Owl Drone will clear, though. So
Okay. Yeah, Supercat gotta run away. You don't want to take that fight. And that fight you won't take. You get smoked off in short. You're gonna have to try and reposition somewhere else. And YFP actually calling off this hit. They're just deciding, you know what? Let's just pause. Let's see what other people can find over towards B. You know, let's try and get Oomphies to spend some utility to re-aggress and re-clear, and utility they will spend. Owl Drone's gone.
But YFP look a little bit uncommittal. I mean, a pick on Supercat helps. Another one on Panini. Okay, if they didn't get those picks, if Oomphies don't re-clear for information like that, there's a world where YFP just flounder and eventually pick a site and run it in. But now they have a much more dominant position. They can say, hey, the C site, usually we've had good luck there. With player odds, we can definitely do it. Although the Rolling Thunder is available, Avery's in position.
Yeah, and Carry can actually capitalize off the back of it. Spike dropped in the middle of the site. Avery able to take out Melia as well through the top of the crate. Means that Corrupt and Marceline have to dig their way back in. They do exactly that, and now it's Terror. 1v3. Spike gets planted, a runaway towards Long, but Terror is there, but can't find the frags off the back of it. Oh, this is so tragic.
Isolating these fights is going to be impossible for Terra. You have to hope for a spacing issue from YFP.
Oh, there's the jiggle. Shock darts go in. Marceline just dodging around him. There's a tap. Swing 3, 2. There's the dart. Again, just more jump peaks. They know that Terra's not on it. And now with those jiggles, it's all just this time game. Terra's stuck in. You got one, and that's about all you're going to get. You have to save at this point. The time's not there. YFP, no. YFP have gotten to 5, and all things considered, that's a great round to do it. What a mid-round call for that rotate.
I'm actually going to say it feels a little bit bizarre that Terra ends up saving. I guess they did some quick math, and maybe they couldn't have gotten everybody a Vandal and also gotten an op back, maybe? No, but they're not even going for the op for carry. So it feels a little bizarre that Terra didn't want to just try and fight and maybe die and get the Hunter's Fury at the start of the next round. Instead, going to have to play for this orb. YFP don't seem in position to counter it, though, so it's not going to get punished here at the very least.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but this is where we're at. Supercat in garage, trying to do a little bit of quick damage here, fighting up against Marceline. Will be able to find that and actually finds Corrupt, make it a third on the Scary Shark. Supercat going super crazy with that Vandal in garage. Just makes it sing. Gonna start to look for Melia, but there's that closer eventually. Supercat ace denied.
Look, Melia gets the spike back, but that was lambs to the slaughter for YFP, running in one at a time.
Elaborate?
The ping is going on. The Owl Drone got its tag, and Elaborate's not even able to confirm the A site. So now it's just Melia in a 1v4. I mean, good luck, gamer. I'm not quite feeling it. YFP, not... They thought they had someone that they could catch off guard, but Supercat just holding the ground. Not caught off in the slightest, and now I mean we're looking at 7-5 almost undoubtedly here, unless Oomphies make a similar mistake and also run in 1 by 1.
30 seconds left.
It's possible, right? Weirder things have happened, but surely it's not just ones over and over. That's a teleport used now. Oh, and there's that stun, but it actually stuns up Carry. Oh, that could be a mistake. That could cost them. If Melia can get a little bit lucky here and take these fights 1 by 1.
Okay.
But no, the jiggle is good. Panini's able to get the kill. Well played. Oomphies get to 7.
Yeah, Oomfy's doing a good job of at least not all running in at the same time. Terror goes, you know, there's only 2 of us left. I'm never going to fight this. I'm just going to jiggle until Panini comes up on the flank. All right. Nicely done by Oomfy's. A phenomenal defense from them. I mean, Terror, despite not being at the top of the leaderboard, I think was certainly an extremely deadly player toward those first few rounds, keeping Oomfy's in contention, rather. Very nicely done by Terror and the rest of Oomfy's, of course. Avery, phenomenal assistance on those blinds, especially over toward the C site. It was a really valiant attempt by Avery and Carey in that penultimate round of the first half. But now we swap sides. And Oomfy's, arguably, this is going to be even more comfortable for them. Supercat just has to play confidently and in tandem with Avery, and it's looking good for Oomfy's to potentially answer back for their map 1 loss.
Especially because you consider the amount of assists that Avery has. Like, that breach util has been on point for the side of Oomfy's. So, for YFP, it's really just about, you know, what can you do to stall out these, you know, supposedly really burst-heavy executes. And here's all that utility that comes in to try and counter, and Panini running through that smoke will get dropped, and it's Marceline to find 3! Oh, that means it's all on Carey. 1v5, and yeah, no, we're not making that mistake again. Oomfy's is going to be able to say goodbye to their lead as YFP pick up that pistol. I don't listen.
I don't super love the 3 players running through the smoke without any info or knowing where they are completely blind. I don't love that. Yeah, it's not my favorite play that we've seen on the day. It's pistol. You're looking to catch a timing on somebody. It's not the most egregious thing I've ever seen, but bold, I would say. Bold from Oomfy's there, and it will likely cost them their lead, as you said. Anti-eco now for YFP and the defense, too. I mean, Oomfy's is going to be pretty difficult. Only a I mean, look, it's Terror. Terror Sheriff. It's not impossible.
I think Terror... There is a actual chance that Terror has more kills on the Sheriff than they do on the rifle. It's...
I think it's at least equal, because I think Terror has 5 Sheriff kills, at least, that I can remember.
It's like 5 to 6. It's something insane, but...
Yeah.
Marceline's actually alone on B with a Ghost, so if they catch Marcy off, this could
at least be a plant. I mean, at least Marceline won't give them any sort of upgraded weaponry.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely gonna fight.
Oh, okay. Crazy Cloudburst to block the recon dart, but there's that running onto the site, and Scary Shark gonna try and get active, get involved, but it's actually Elaborate to open things up first before Scary Shark's inevitable return to the site. And now in this 3v5 for Oomfy's, you can see YFP, they're playing this discipline. They don't want to overstep, but eventually Terror will get the better of one player and at least provide some sort of an opening somewhere.
You've got to be kidding me, Terror.
Okay. All right.
You've got to be kidding me. Okay, thank you, Melia. If Terror got another one there, I was going to lose my mind, because Oomfy's... I think they played very non-committal to the B play. Not unwinnable, though.
Okay, Melia able to get another one.
The time isn't there.
Okay.
Woo, I mean, Terror makes it close. Terror always makes it close. But I do think Oomfy's, considering there was an eco that they only bought into the Sheriff, I think they could have stood to play a little bit less cautious on that B play, right? Like, they had Panini go into B, but when they lost track of where Marceline was, they kind of just called it off entirely, and Panini was left out to dry a bit. They lost 2 in the blink of an eye, and I mean, Terror does Terror things, answers back. I think that's 7 now, so that'd be 7 at least on the Sheriff, if I'm not mistaken. So there it is, 7 of 12. That is more than half.
Okay. There we go. Nice little A-main play here for YFP on this bonus round. But you can see all this utility. It's being used specifically to keep Melia stuck in that position, and that she will. She's able to find one before eventually getting traded out as Corrupt finds 2 on the site. Oomfy's, there's only so much you can do, but hey, you found your way in, and you can get a plant here. The only thing you'd really have to worry about as a sticking point is this player who's wrapping you short. Oh. Okay,
it's going to be a while, though.
Stuck in towards
before
CT.
Marceline shows up. I mean, Guardian is available. Are you looking for it? Not on your life are you going to expect that. Not when it's Avery, who had to already fight someone toward defender
Carry.
spawn, and a nice play there too from Scary Shark. At least YFP narrowly reclaim their lead a bit. They shut down the bonus. Still, I mean, 3 guns dropped and armor broken is a little bit tough. YFP, if I remember right, they already struggled a little bit earlier with buying after those.
So, well, thankfully for YFP, they get that round, and that was actually the bonus. So
Yeah, it's
they
huge.
can get that off.
Oh yeah, they
online.
don't shut the. I said shut down the bonus. That's not what I meant. They take the bonus.
Yeah.
And now there's an op online for Marceline too. I mean, op Jet
Haven.
in sewer. What is more iconic here on Haven, right?
Yep. And it's off the back of that nice little stun. Yes, there. Now, Marceline swing. Ooh,
Oh,
shoulder spotted.
the TP
Panini.
didn't go far enough. The shrouded step didn't get Panini to safety.
Instead, it's just all that utility to force Marcy off the angle.
But
That's
that's
how they're.
so much that you have to invest just to
Yeah.
get Marceline off that angle. I mean, it
On
is
an
an
eco.
eco round, right? So, I mean, Oomfie's. The bright side is you didn't super need that because you weren't super expecting to win this round. The downside is now you don't have much util to try and pull a thrifty.
Yeah, you're gonna have to just try and hope that Panini can get this plant, and somehow
Spike
you can
planted.
brawl your way out on the site. You can possibly deny this retake avenue from Elaborate if Terra's able to hit that shot, which no headshot just yet. Instead, it's gonna be the headshots from Melia to come through, as well as the wall bang on Gong onto Supercat. Meaning now, as Elaborate can swing out Garage, you're able to take 1-for-1, but Terra's still alive and can still haunt nightmares with this Sheriff. It's now a 2v1 for Carry. This is absolutely possible, but Corrupt makes sure that that isn't the case. Carry falls. YFP continue on their unlosing streak on the defense, and that's 9 rounds to the better.
Whew, man, I mean, they make your heart jump into your throat, though.
Yep.
Terror with another one there. Oh, insane. Nice timing from Carry, too. But, yeah, unfortunate. Maybe if you have rifles there, you're able to do a little bit more damage. Or maybe not. I mean, Terror has been a monster with the Sheriff thus far. But now we're getting into the point where Oomfies, they're starting to run out of time. That's 9 rounds already for YFP, and they don't have... I mean, the last round bonus is at least stacking. They'll probably get one more uncomfortable buy after this, but, you know, I'm looking at Hunter's Fury online, but so much available for YFP, too. This is not an easy round, but Oomfies, they need to make something happen. They need to be more decisive. Only on their eco rounds have they really been decisive thus far on their attack as to where they wanted to plant, who they wanted to try and flush out with utility. Now, it seems that they're a little bit more confident they can head towards C, but they need to maintain that confidence and get rid of Elaborate without suffering many casualties.
Ugh. That's a
really well-timed
Yeah.
fault line from Timbuktu over there across the map.
Just on the other side, it's just like you can't do anything. And speaking of fault lines, it's all led up to Elaborate just hunkering down in towards the back of the site. That's a couple good tags, but Supercat will eventually be able to take care of that anchor and Elaborate. And now it's a 4v5 retake. YFP, you don't have the numbers. Will you have the utility, as all of these players on Oomfies have just run back towards long?
And
except
you're playing
for-
against the Hunter's Fury too.
Yeah.
This is nightmarish. There's no flank for YFP. And even the late lurk from Marceline is coming. Or actually, Marceline on the site. I mean, Supercat is coming garage, but now the numbers at least look okay.
Yeah, the numbers look good, and actually now the numbers look even better for YFP, as it's only Terror to find anything on the board, but you can see that defuse, it's still going to go
Unreal.
through, and Terror will only be able to escape with their life and nothing more. YFP, yet to drop a defense round, means Oomfies is down to yet another eco.
Really unreal that YFP are able to come through with that one. The fights on site going really well. I was surprised that Oomfies try and fight as aggressively as they did. You have the Hunter's Fury. You don't need to peek your head out until the spike gets tapped, but they left a couple of players in aggressive positions, and they paid the price for it sorely. Great cover, too, by YFP, making sure that Supercat got nothing through Garage. I mean, this is starting to go from bad to worse. Oomfies there, running out of time to turn this back around. Marceline at least caught, but Corrupt good on the cover. Even a Paranoia I don't think is going to get much here.
Oh, wait a minute. That shadow step was heard, and Panini will get taken out due to it. Marceline
teamwork?
misses the Blade Storm, but this op shot, it might be a little different. Okay, no, op goes a little bit wide. The next two blades go a little bit wide. All of this goes a little bit wide. And it's bought a little bit of time here for that Unfe's player with that spike to rotate around, go over towards short. Terror will eventually fall, and now it's just a 2v5 for these two remaining players out short. I don't specifically know how Carrie and Avery can do this, but
They can't. That's,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Flawless by YFP to get up to 11. Now just 2 rounds away from the grand finals and from their potential revenge against Shopify Rebellion. But Shopify are looking real good right now. But even still, getting to the grand finals gets you more points to potentially qualify for the main event. It's the difference between, I believe, 22 points and 33, if
Yeah.
I'm reading my notes correctly. I mean, that can be huge, especially as there's only one qualifier remaining after this.
Yeah,
YFP
basically.
with so much weaponry too. Flawless on their defense thus far. 6 rounds in a row since we've swapped sides.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm left to wonder, where are the tactics from Unfe's? Neon is not as much of a when it comes to coordinated team play. It is hard for Neon to operate in isolation. We've yet to see hard tactics, hard util combinations, taking space, forcing people out of the map.
It
The
really
micro has not transferred into macro for Unfe's yet. And even in this round, low economy, they already have taken so much damage.
Okay.
Trading one's not the end of the world, though.
Yeah, no, trading one is pretty good, but unfortunately, 2 of these players on Unfe's are already oh so low because of the Odin spam they took earlier. So, Carmelia, you're going to be able to get really active there, and you're at the very least going to go 1-for-1, but Terror and Avery with those Guardians. Make sure things stay even though Corrupt is there for the trade. It's now all up to Marceline. In a 1v2, you have that op. And neither of these players are particularly low. You trade out, you dash in that owl drone. It actually takes Terror out. And the up dash, it was almost there, but Carrie can close things out with the Guardian. Oomphies, it took all that just to find your first on this attacking half.
25 HP and a Guardian. Marceline goes for the updraft play because it's a Guardian. Because it's hard to immediately hit that shot, but Carrie is just barely able to find the right pixel. Shut down the aggression from Marceline. I mean, what a play. But it won't work out for YFP here. They won't be on match point just yet. Carrie saves it. And now Unfe's have a little bit more life in the tank. Good ults, too. The Rolling Thunder for when they want to take a site, or if they can get there without it. It'll be excellent in the post plant. Neural Theft to play around in the mid round, but first they have to get a pick. Supercat already so deep into Garage. And this is what I'm talking about. Supercat is on solo missions a lot of the time. I mean, there are bits of utility. You can see the fault line there to allow Supercat to swing across Garage, but there's no body to trade Supercat if they get caught.
Speaking of Garage, Supercat getting caught out by the back of that Rolling Thunder means it's now a 4v5 for Oomphies yet again. Elaborate with that kill means that now these 4 players on Unfe's, they're sent scrambling around in mid to try and figure out where to go. Panini's going to be able to use that from the shadows, but Terror's the next to get caught out by Melia. And, you know, sure, you have the sight and you're able to take care of Marceline, but you're going to start getting swung from every single position. That Rolling Thunder goes through, it stuns up Panini, everything's going awry. Melia uses the From the Shadows now to reposition over towards Elbow to try and help the team retake. It's a 4v3. YFP, you have that number. Can you convert off the back of it?
No Rolling Thunder for either team. They were both used in the mid round. Paranoia gets them into the site and a camera, clearing out most of the angles too. YFP set up nicely for match point, but they have to flush these players out.
Oh, Carrie only able to go 1-for-1, but that's not enough when you're working from a player down. You have to try and anchor big here, but it's another 1-for-1, and that's how it ends. At least not for the map, but it confirms YFP's got overtime in the books, match point, even series point here for YFP.
I thought Scary Shark lined up with the buddy right there at the end, but it was just far enough away for Scary Shark to be able to trade that round. The second the first Rolling Thunder is used for Garage, it is a free-for-all. Everybody's and the entire map is on their own missions there. Supercat gets dominated. Panini TP's A, but has to double back Sewer to get rid of the op that's holding out the teammates. An unreal round, but YFP come out on top of it, and Oomphy's economy is looking much worse for the wear. Only 2 actual rifles, and they're gonna have to make it work. They have no time remaining. 4 rounds in a row to send it to another overtime. A good start, though, from Supercat. Can you keep the good times going? I think so.
That's huge. Supercat double opener over on that B site means that you have the player advantage to spare. Marcy has to try and get active here, and that dash, actually, it will reward them. And Corrupt! A triple spray down in mid! It's all up to Carry alone!
1 versus 3, having to dodge the owl drone. A potential Hunter's, even if you recover the spike. Hunter's Fury in an empty map, 50 seconds to play with, though.
There's so much to do here.
Potentially favorable angle. Marceline is tucked in the cubby, but you could get better of Corrupt right here, right now.
Deleted.
Have to expect the second.
No, you don't,
Doesn't.
but the shots go a little bit wide for Marcy, so Carry's going to be able to pick up that spike and could move over to C, but YFP, they're expecting it. There's so much for Carry to do. A 1v3 just to keep your team's hopes alive. The dots just, it all goes just like that. Carry, in the split second, gets that trade, and YFP have found their ways into the grand finals up against Shopify for a rematch.
A really phenomenal effort. I mean, the first map was an 18-20 overtime that Oomphy's only barely lost. I gotta shout out to Carry there. That Carry was just absolutely insane in those last few rounds. And of course, Terror too, with the sheriff shots and even just in some of the clutches, a really well-played game, even though it doesn't end up being as competitive of a map number 2. But it's YFP who come out on top at the end of the day, head on to the grand finals. They'll have a chance to play against Shopify Rebellion. What a match, what a series, Angel. I'm glad we got to see it.
The plays in that map, I understand exactly how that 20-18 scoreline happened on that one off stream. I mean, that is ridiculous, but you're absolutely right. That's where we're sitting. YFP now get that rematch. They get that opportunity to play up against Shopify. And this is really huge for them because, you know, we talk about how, oh, Shopify was looking weak when they were in GC1, but now it's like they're really strong. But again, they have a sub coming into this. So, you know,
can Shopify average less than 4 rounds to everybody without dropping them out? That would be insane, right? YFP don't want to do that, though. They want to take far more than 4 rounds. Keep in mind, YFP, a lot of these players were on the Solstice roster in the first qualifier of Series 3, and they got knocked out, I believe, in the round of 16 by Shopify Rebellion. So getting all the way to the grand final, huge here, not only to potentially get some sort of revenge on Shopify Rebellion, but also for their points, because now, you know, round of 16, it's tough to make main events just getting round of 16, but getting all the way to the grand final gives them a much better chance, even if they can't pull off the insane upset.
100% correct. And Paul, once again, the scoreline has read 2, so that means for us, our time this time,
you and I are actually done.
We're done. Thank you for joining us for this little impromptu journey of the second semifinal between YFPX and Oomphy's. But Paul and I, our time here is over. You want to stay tuned, though, because that grand final between Shopify and YFPX is not one to be missed. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Oh, I wanna run off and fly, and I'll tell myself it's fine to be alone, just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. Oh, oh, oh. it up, stop wasting time. Yeah, I wanna run off and fly. And I'll tell myself it's fine to be alone, just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. I hate all this overthinking. The more I swim, the more I'm sinking. Take me to a world of silver, no more heartbreaks, tears, painkillers. Take me somewhere unfamiliar, bring me back to where we started out. Get me out of now, to where we started out. Get me out of now, to where we started out. Oh no, tell me how it feels, and I just need to know. You know that we've been here, wanna go home. Tell me how it feels, and baby, come on, come on. Running from the real thing, drinking out. Don't know what you're thinking, you don't really show. Tell me how it feels, and baby, come on, come on. I should know by now that we're out of control. Waiting for you to slow down. No, I should know by now that we're out of control. But we'll never slow down. No. Took your time to get here, tell me what you want. I know what you're thinking, are we really on? Tell me how it feels, and baby, come on, come on. Can see you now coming, taking me on. Take me to the deep end, run and jump ball. Tell me how it feels, and baby, come on, come on. I'm living a hollow life. I'm living a hollow life. What am I supposed to do? I'm lonely here without you. All these days are passing by. Standing there while you're living your life. I'm broken here alone. Where did I go wrong? Living a hollow life. I'm living a hollow
Get you one more time. I really wanna cross the line. I do it all before I die. I wanna get it on tonight. I wanna get you one more time. I really wanna cross the line. I wanna get you one more time, one more time, one more time, one more time. I want it one more time. I really need to make it right. Energy I overdose, 'cause I'm ready to reload. I need it one more time, but baby then again twice. But I don't know if I'm ready to let go. I'm gonna have you one more time. I'm gonna hit it one more night with you, with you. I am committed 'cause I know it's you I want. Hope I never see you go home. Oh, come along. I'm gonna have you one more time. I'm gonna have you one more night. I wanna get you one more time. I really wanna cross the line. I do it all before I die. I wanna get it on tonight. I wanna get you one more time. I really wanna cross the line. I wanna get you one more time, one more time, one more time, one more time. Ooh, this time I wanna take it slow. I don't need my phone. I know how to picture in my mind the nights with you. I'm ready to enjoy the ride. I don't wanna die, but I could die in your arms, 'cause I don't need to live forever. I don't need to live forever. 'Cause I don't. I wanna get you one more time. I really wanna cross the line. I do it all before I die. I wanna get it on tonight. I wanna get you one more time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We just got off a kind of tumultuous set of games, and now we're back with the grand finals of the Open Qualifier number 2 GC Unofficial Cast. My name is Nerds. I am here with Zach, and we are raring and ready to go.
And here we are. I mean, we just got done with watching that second semifinal as well. Additional bonus for the day. You know, we thought we were just going to be watching that first game, but we did manage to see YFPX take down Oofies in 2-0 fashion. Although I would say that 2-0 doesn't really do that serious justice, seeing that the first map was like, what was it again, an 18?
I wish I could see the first map, Zach. 1820.
We all do.
Oh,
1820, my bad.
Yeah, that's
1820. So that's like a cage boxing match that YFP had to fight through. But yeah, after they managed to convert it, second map looks a little bit easier, especially like we were talking about before we went into this on that defensive side. I think they only lost one round, and that too came down to a 1v1. So pretty dominant map 2 coming out after that side swap happened. And of course, we're going to be seeing that grand final here between Shopify as well as YFP. We just watched Shopify steamroll their opponents, 13-3, 13-4. Kind of, what we've come to expect from Shopify, but, there were a lot of questions, especially after the previous loss that they had.
Yeah, and honestly, what is it? I think it is, like you mentioned, a grudge match between them. I personally, my prediction is that Shopify Rebellion, they just want to end out this entire tournament with 0-2 on the board, dropping them at most 9 rounds. On average, I believe Pulsable was discussing this, around 4 rounds that they have dropped in a game. And I feel like Shopify is just going to continue with that trend and try as much as possible to do that. Now, that being said, YFP is coming into this after not only the 20 and 18 overtime match, but also a fairly long Haven match. And even though it was a lot of puggy play style and a lot of just, shooting it out at each other, you still got to give them some credit that they pushed through that. They're probably coming in a little tired. I do want to kind of note the emotional and physical state of some of these players. They're going to go into this with some, potential stressors, right, that are out of their control. They're going to be a little tired. You got to pop a Red Bull. You got to try and get some energy in. But at the end of the day, you're going up against a team like Shopify Rebellion who have done this before. They've played through entire brackets. They've had to endure really long matchups against really difficult teams. And now that's the big question that's in my mind is, will YFP be able to make Shopify bleed?
That's a really good question as well. And I mean, there's a decent amount on the line here, I would say, of course. I mean, for Shopify, they're so far ahead of circuit points that, even if they bomb out of this qualifier as well as the next one, I think they'll be fine in that regard because it is about 4 or 5 spots off the back of those circuit points. But, if they can just win this, even better, because that confirms their slot in the qualifier. So for both YFP as well as Shopify, this is a chance to just get themselves into that main event without too much trouble instead of, having to cross your fingers and, count off circuit points instead. I would say that for Shopify, it is a little bit more stable, a little bit less at stake here compared to their opponents. But, they're Shopify. I don't think they like losing by any means.
Oh, of course. And this qualifier, right, you get 33 points for getting up in second, I believe. In first. And then on top of that, you just get qualified into the events. So realistically, for YFPX, if they, they're getting a decent amount of circuit points, it's a big question mark for us here on the desk if the Solstice, the previous team, since it is the same core under a different banner, if they carry over this circuit points, generally it does. So if assuming that, they still have a really good shot, even at second place, to make it into the main event. But that doesn't mean they don't want to win. That doesn't mean they don't want to try and strive for at least a more competitive series between these two teams. And for YFP, from what we saw, they managed to bring it and tighten it up near the end, not really dropping too much and not going back and forth, not sending into another overtime, but they did still show some weakness. So
True, especially on Haven, like we were talking about. I think that in the first half they looked pretty convincing. When they were on the defensive side, they were able to really make their agent comp work for them. And I think a lot of the rounds it was a lot of difficulty that YFP even faced while heading onto site in the first place. But yeah, second half after that side swap happened, YFP just looked so much more in control. With them being able to even take away that bonus, they just started to kind of steamroll that momentum, push it further even more. And the only round that they lost it was because the Jet updrafted into a Guardian thinking that it wouldn't be an issue, and the Guardian was actually a headshot. So, that's just that's not stuff you can really be counting on, especially against a team like the likes of Shopify Rebellion. You got to be bringing your A game at best. So you're just hoping that they've got more in the tank. Like you said, exhaustion can be a big thing. Shopify, they've not only did they have a pretty short game in relation, like, we were talking about this, and there were more rounds played in that first map than their first map between YFP and Oomphies than there were in the entire series that Shopify played. So they've had a little bit more time
Yes.
to rest up in that duration as well. So that's there.
Hopefully, honestly, here's hoping. That is kind of the goal here. Talking a little bit more about this matchup, we're gonna head into the map and a selection between them. And honestly, it's kind of hype and a little surprising. Bind and Lotus getting banned out first is pretty hype, because we get to see Abyss being floated and YFP picking it.
Yeah, I mean, the Lotus ban, we were just talking about this and why it makes perfect sense. And Shopify got to continue doing it. They have some PTSD on that map thanks to FlyQuest, I would say. So, yeah, them happy just to take it out of the pool. Like I said, they could be cooking up some strats, hiding it for later. I don't know. But what I am excited to see is this Abyss come into play here. I mean, Shopify, they played it once before. They were able to win it out here. Very convincing victory. In their previous map. I think it was a 13-2 or something on that particular map. So they've got to be feeling pretty happy after their win against Everyone Really Misses. Also, I mean, their Asian comp as well, it does kind of deviate towards the meta for this map. If there is a meta that's being established, I like the Jet pick. I feel like Jet is the one agent that you really want to always see on this map just because of how essential she is in that duelist slot. But also the KO to kind of enable it. Noya, of course, just being an absolute beast on that Cypher continuously, and Melon the usual Omen. I really like this. They're sticking to basics, nothing too flashy, nothing too extreme, but it works. And if you put a comp like this that has already proven itself, that has proven to be able to be very flexible in a simple way in the hands of a creative team like Shopify, they're able to excel with it for sure.
We saw their Ascent comp as well, which honestly kind of shocked. It didn't really shock as much as it just was like, wow, I mean, like, that's really cool. You guys are a strong team. You're testing things out. You're playing with that sort of Lev comp you were discussing, and Paulsable said earlier, all that type of stuff, right? All that innovation. I think they're going to bring it out again. I mean, if they did it there, it worked. They're a strong team. They have confidence. If they win Abyss, most likely on Ascent, we're not going to be seeing the standard comps, which is something we predicted and we're wrong about. Very happily wrong about, I might add, because seeing the standard comp on Ascent is not always what you want to see, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that's the one map where I think almost everyone I met who's been casting this game for any amount of time just despises seeing that comp, because you run into it. It's the one map where you also run into the same weird comp in your ranked games. You have people who fill the same agents every time. Every other map there's like triple duelists, people running wacky stuff, which usually I hate. But at least on Ascent it adds a little bit of variety, a little bit of spice. But no, even then it's the same stuff. And don't even get me started on the casting. I do hope that future Ascents we see a little bit more variety. I mean, honestly, I think Ascent is the one map that hasn't really been taken out of the rotation since the game's inception. So I think it's long overdue. It's my favorite map to play, but to cast, I've got some big question marks there, here and there.
Question marks come through. Haven's going to be the decider, and I think we're going to be actually sending it and getting ready. Edu and Nerdy Bird are on the caster desk waiting to get us and bring us in, so we'll send it off to them. Cheers.
Hey guys, thanks so much, nerds. Thanks again, Zach. Yeah, it's me, Edu. I'm here with the Nerdy Bird, and honestly, very excited to cast this game. It's been a while since I actually got to see the Shopify Rebellion roster back at it, but they are favored going in as these wonderful analysis we're talking about. But Nerdy, how are you feeling today?
I'm a little concerned about the, I guess, physical capabilities of some of these players, considering YFP was kind of fighting for their life, I felt like, in their first map before this series. So I've always been, as someone who has done this long enough for the, casting marathons that have taken place in Valorant, to know that is twice the amount of exhaustion that players will experience in that amount of time. So our casters, they get to take a break from that. We're taking the place of the casters we had before that. But these players, you are running on adrenaline, and that starts to wear off at a certain point. And then so it's how long can you be running on that high that you experienced from winning out an 18-20 map and continue that into grand finals? Or are you going to get extremely exhausted halfway through, and that's going to be your own undoing? That is where my concern is coming out right now. I really want to see if we are able to notice shaky gameplay starting to happen, especially midway through on Abyss, considering we know that Shopify is kind of dominant on this map. It could be a repeat of the last series.
You know, I like that you brought up Abyss here, as it is our first map. YFP, though, I will say they've been doing pretty well on this map. I mean, they've played it more in this set so far. So yesterday, they played it in both the round of 16 against the team Aeronite GC, and then they also were able to bring it on against Sad Frost. So, you know, in both of those two games, they played very, very well when it came to Abyss. They were able to go 13-3 and then 13-5. I do believe, yeah. So on a map like this, they actually 13-5 and then 13-3. So you know, they have a similar track record to Shopify. You know, Shopify in the quarterfinals, they also were on this map and they went 13-2. So you know, maybe it's about history. It's really about how much energy, as you were saying, because that 18-20 is going to be a big just loss of energy, just a full sink into that. But against these two teams, I think that, you know, both of these teams have amazing rosters. Shopify Rebellion, of course, having Effie's behind the scenes as the coach. That's somebody that, you know, everybody been keeping an eye on ever since, you know, joining the V1 and then eventually kind of moving around. I think that Shopify Rebellion's team definitely favored, but YFP, they're coming in with Nora, who has a ton of experience here that hopefully is going to shine through.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we can only make predictions, same with our analysts, and it's going to be up to the players. I'm excited to see how tooth and nail this first game will end up being. I mean, if you're YFP and you're just coming off of that insane series that they had, I feel like your goal is to come out strong and like set the standard extremely high right out the gate. Perhaps we have an inverse of what Shopify has been experiencing on Abyss, or perhaps it's an inverse of what YFP has been experiencing. Or we have a repeat of game number one, since they're both so dominant on this map. I actually am leaning more towards seeing double, if not triple overtime on this map. And if I'm wrong, I'm really sorry to the players. I love seeing things go the distance, but I also know it's extremely painful when you're stuck going that far into a competitive match.
True. I will say though, Abyss is not like Ascent. It is not a new, or it's not an old map. It's not a map that's been tried and tested by these teams time and time again in a tournament setting, especially not a grand final setting. So even though these teams both had very strong sets here, I doubt that we're going to get to overtime, because a new map, you know, I saw this when Pearl came out, when Sunset came out. Whenever a new map just kind of adds some spice of life, it's very hard to actually get these matches to be close, because one team is going to just know a little bit more. That edge is going to be coming out from experience, and that's what I think is going to showcase here is, you know, the Shopify Rebellion team, which is backed by them having the exact same roster for a long time. These guys know each other. I mean, they've been able to play with each other so beautifully just for the past, you know, 20-24 seasons here. They've been doing really well, and, you know, YFP, their roster, I'm not sure exactly how tenured they are with each other, but when you compare that over to, you know, these players on SR, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, I can't argue with in regards to the fact that like synergy across the team roster is extremely important. It also allows for like quicker adaptability. Sometimes it even allows for easier and cleaner comms, because you are just so used to your teammates' rhythms. There is no need to calm certain aspects of things. And so it allows for very quintessential information to be relayed, and then for the rest of the space to be utilized by other members of the team that might need more assistance when going up against a little bit of unpredictability. And I do think Abyss still lends itself, because it is so new, to having some whoopsie moments from players and teams across the board. So we'll have to see if we have any of those moments occur, as we are jumping in here to our first round. Pretty standard buys across the board. We got 3 players buying Ghosts on one side, and then, you know, YFP, we've got 2 people favoring the Ghost. Nope, just 1. I kind of figured that would be the case, with the rest only relying on Util.
Yeah, and honestly, looking at the team compositions, because we weren't able to take a peek at that agent select screen, let's talk about what we can see here. Double smokes controllers coming out from YFP, going for the Harbor and Omen, and then instead opting for only 1 initiator. And for me personally, I actually love Gecko on this map, so not seeing Gecko at all is definitely curious here. But looking at this split so far, it's going to be interesting to see where these players actually end up, as that Omen and Cypher both are on a lurk mission here.
I, for this map in particular, put a lot more value on the blinds or flashes that my teammates are able to utilize. So both sides have that paranoia from the Omen, so it's complete darkness on your screen, along with a little bit of lack of noise. However, I think the flash drives from KO are going to be extremely powerful for engagements and retakes coming from Shopify Rebellion. It's just a matter of How are we going to plan to utilize them? And if you're YFP, what's your counter plan to that? So we see the Omen smokes are starting to go out. There is that first actual blind being used from Mel. And I do believe some people got detected using that 0-point knife.
Yeah, just a few, but Mel actually getting spotted out here. But look at A already getting executed. Corrupt is now going to try to hold it back, but look at Sarah going right on up, and unfortunately losing the spike early into this round execute here. But no, Alexis gets the trade, but now with only 23 HP, Noya has to push up, and that bomb is unfortunately in a terrible spot for this team. SR is going to have to walk right into 2 sheriffs, and that's going to be 3 kills down, leaving Mel all alone, 20 seconds, and almost guaranteeing a pistol round unless Mel does some crazy Mel things.
I mean, the executioners were posted up with those deagles at back of sight. It was tragic that when our jet used that tailwind to get in, we ended up getting capped, and then Elaborate will manage to take down Mel as well. I don't think Mel has had much of an opportunity to do too much, considering it was a classic versus a ghost, and then also out of line of sight of Mel. At least they didn't have to experience it. There was 2 more sheriffs that could have run in that corner and also assisted in that, turned the 1v1 into a 1v3 and made it much more painful to experience.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate that we did see them kind of fall apart there. I mean, just losing that bomb in such a critical position on a bridge of all things, not ideal. But here are some typical THZ stats here. YFP are only one of 3 teams to play Harbor on this map. So very interesting to see this lock in, and already top of the scoreboard.
I think Shopify Rebellion is saying to us, wait until we're on our attacking phase. I've noticed some struggling on Abyss in the early rounds for teams that tend to be more equal in power when it comes to this map. So I'm keeping that hope alive that even if YFP starts to pull ahead a little bit more here in this first half for themselves, that Shopify Rebellion, once we swap sides, is a little bit more successful as well. We'll have to wait and see. I always try to remain hopeful, but Scary Shark is going to be looking down with that sniper down mid, and I don't think we might get timing diffed here between our Cypher and the Harbor that are about to lock sights with one another in mid, looking at that mini-map.
Yeah, this is not going to be too easy here, but looking at that timing, Elaborate will take out one. Corrupt gets a nice clean headshot, but oh no, gets pushed up too far by Sarah, but that's why we have Scary Shark. Great shots to take him down with the Outlaw, but wait, Melia? Getting it down, getting 2, and just taking the round so crispy with it.
YFP is beautifully executing these retakes. Their patience is showing, definitely. I mean, I was a little bit worried about the stare down that was about to occur at mid, but it was actually kind of ignored and circumvented, and we just decided to wait for the retake on point. It works out nicely, and plus, look at the weapons that are able to be saved. We only lose 1 person, and plus it was all Bulldogs that were choosing to go forward within that Outlaw. So hopefully someone has a gun for our Cypher, one of those sidearms that you beg your teammates for when you accidentally die on the bonus. But now is where we go into the scary weaponry involved on the other side of a bunch of Vandals.
Ooh, actually dropping the Bulldog and then taking up Elaborate with a Sheriff. So, yeah, looking at this bonus, it should be pretty tough for YFP here because SR did get that bomb plant. They're looking extra clean. And again, I am also going to shout out Fluorescent is not in this game if you're expecting that roster. Raid E-Sub 13 is actually Misu. So if you know this player, get your hands together because we're going to be making some applause for them. But just so you know, if you ever look at this wonderful scoreboard, that is Misu on the bottom right there on the Sova. But getting into this round, it looks like we do have a little bit of a timeout here. So we do have more time to talk about what potential strategies we can see. And let's actually analyze here. The first 2 rounds, how do we feel like this Harbor double controller strat's working for them?
Honestly, I'm liking how the util is being used. It's spaced out nicely. They're waiting until they're getting ample information before they're starting to drop smokes, which is, you know, a side effect of a lot of experience and a lot of cohesion among the team. And honestly, the timing is so well done, and also shout out to State Farm, thank you, is so well done here that they are able to cycle this utility for the early engagement, force out extra util from Shopify Rebellion, and then still have, not even fully waiting for the recoup, they have that latter half of the cooldowns to come back into sight, and by the time the execution's done, all the bodies are on the floor, they have every single one of the cooldowns back. It's quite enjoyable to watch the timing sync up in that way.
Yeah. So I completely agree. I like the way that this team is playing together. Definitely working down that clock has been amazing for them in that pistol round especially. But look at Melia, already up close and personal. Spots the barrel of one, but trusts the teammate. That's going to be a great amount of damage dealt, but can't elaborate. Get out. Looks like they managed to succeed. Unfortunately, they did not get their teammate's gun, so they're still locked down to that Sheriff here. And look at that. Misu getting a pick down on a scary Shark. Now both control agents are no longer on the team of FYP, leaving a pretty optimal position for SR to maybe touch this point, but it's mirrored.
This comes down to gun placement, your positioning, and the discipline that you have when you're taking these a little bit more egotistical rounding of corners. As Corrupt will find Sarah. So now we're favoring YFP. And we have our Sova lurking up. Does have Spike and is going to round this corner. I think the prediction is there. Ooh, nice. The walk back. But now you're dealing with a Cypher, and I think most players could agree that Cypher, even solo holding, is quite scary to deal with in a 2v1 or a 1v1. So good luck, have fun. I hope you take down all of the tripwires.
Yeah, I don't even think we have many tripwires left. Just one on the optimal bomb plant spot here. So with 30 seconds and only one Cypher, a very low Cypher, it's where this aim hits, and that's going to be one, but not two. Oh, big opportune moment here, but now it's a 1v2 clutch time. Misu having to show up. Great plant position if they want to play across the way, which they're going to. No smokes, but no, they get aggressive here. Vandal in hand, 13 bullets, 2 enemies. But they hear that drone. They now give up their positioning here. And YFP, they are going to be able to just surround Misu.
I appreciate Misu taking the more advantageous position here, but this outrun might be their own undoing. The timing almost got Misu sent to their own death, but now we're jiggle picking swaps over to the sidearm because they ran out of bullets. Corrupt is the victor with that Bulldog. Is going to get a free Vandal even on top of it. I mean, and we can expect this from the players, honestly. They definitely said Corrupt is low. There is no way that was not conveyed. And so instead of waiting for Corrupt to push them, we're probably anticipating Corrupt to be leading in, and they'd be able to take out Corrupt with little to no health loss, and then take on Jet in the follow-up. Unfortunately, it was vice versa, so Corrupt was the one that ended up being our undoing there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Corrupt the undoer, but that drone timing could not have been in a worse moment. But, I mean, if anybody is going to clutch it, it's going to be Corrupt here with a 37% clutch